Hello there, a very warm welcome to one and all. It is, of course, yet another watch-along on cricket.com. We're going to be doing the third T20 international between West Indies and India, and it's a do-or-die from an India perspective. Remember, they're 2-0 down, and the inevitable question is, can they come and win this 3-2 in terms of a comeback? My name's Avnish Hegde, and of course, I have a familiar face in terms of the cricket.com in-house panel. It is Anirudh Suresh. How are we this evening, my friend?
Good.
Going on?
Good. Yep.
I mean, it's quite shocking why there is a delay to this third T20 international. Would you like to explain it to the viewers?
Yeah, so apparently the 30-yard circle has not been drawn out, and the players walked out to the field before that was done, or rather, they did not do it in time. So we have a slight delay, but it looks like the players are back on the field. So I'm assuming we should start in the next couple of minutes, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
So who's to cop the blame?
Ground staff, I guess, aren't they responsible for these kind of stuff? I mean, I think it must be ground staff, but yeah, fine. It gives us an opportunity to, kind of settle in slowly before the match starts, rather than starting right on the money when the first ball is bowled, and sometimes after the first ball is bowled. So we are, for once, punctual. So that's good.
That is great because look, essentially we're going to see the inevitable again, which is Hardik Pandya open the bowling for India. And all you guys joining us right now, give this video a like before we proceed further and tell us what you think in the comments, because we've been asking you one question ever since that 2-0 has plagued India on Sunday night. It was, can they win the series? Because remember, the last two games of the series will be played in Florida. Apparently, the batting deck there will suit India more. But look, West Indies winning the toss and batting first. We'll just give you the team news. And Anirudh, you can chip in here. Oh, but there's a first ball. Sorry, a complete start there, because I thought they were going to take at least 10 seconds more.
And that was identical to the ball Hardik bowled to Brandon King in the second match. And King kind of hit it straight to Surya Kumar at cover. So good on him for keeping it.
What do you make of India's changes? Two of them. Kuldeep comes back in for Bishnoi, and the boy Jaiswal debuts today.
And he's replacing Kishan, and I was pleasantly surprised because I thought this management was hell-bent on backing Kishan to the hilt.
Yep.
But they have gone ahead and dropped him after a couple of matches. So does this mean that they believe that Samson is ahead in the pecking order compared to Kishan?
I love that. I mean, just to hear that from you is just fantastic. And I'm sure it makes many fans happy as well. Let us know if you guys agree with India's selections today, because the two coming in, one, understandably, because Kuldeep was a forced change to go out of the second T20 international. He comes back in. And even that is kind of debatable in some fields. This is probably the best 11 seeing Sagar Chandra.
I mean, ideally, you just want one more all-rounder playing instead of one of Kuldeep or Chahal, because, again, the bowlers start batting from number 8, which, as we saw in the first ODI, is never ideal.
It is never ideal.
So first T20I, it's never ideal. So maybe if you have Jadeja in place of Kuldeep or Chahal, or some all-rounder, let's say if Mukesh is dropped and then Shardul is playing, that's at least fine, because you have Shardul at 8.
What about Umran Malik?
He will get his opportunity, I feel, maybe in one of the last two T20Is, but I am happy that they are giving all players an extended run, except Kishan, which is fine. Again, he's failed for a long time now, so dropping Kishan is understandable. But if you have picked the likes of
edged in, they've got a short third man.
That's a pretty aggressive field setup. They have
a slip,
a very close third man, and then was it a flying a gully? I don't know.
A short third man, I suppose.
I mean, next to that was like,
and
looked like a gully.
There's another close in man over there, which is like a kind of a short backward point
hybrid. I don't know.
Only yesterday we were talking about weird incidents in cricket field on MNL. We got one now. Yep, Santosh Shirappa. Glad you enjoyed the show, by the way. And I think there's some good news coming away. I won't give it away as yet because Akshay just told me just before I entered the studio. Hardik Bishnoi, he bowled better in the last match, saying Chachant. Yeah, that's why I said it's debatable, because with the spinners, Chahal, Kuldeep, and Bishnoi, they're all kind of auditioning, so to speak, in this series.
Which is why you could probably have, continue to play Kishan and maybe brought in Kuldeep in place of one of the pacers, maybe Mukesh. So you give Bishnoi a run as well.
Okay. So, I think, and you're kind of extending your batting lineup a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, who's the other pacer?
Umran. Mukesh,
In this
Avish.
11,
Oh, in this 11,
Mukesh,
Arshdeep.
Arshdeep, yeah. So maybe you could have dropped Mukesh and then played
I mean,
Kuldeep.
you just mentioned a phrase there earlier, pecking order. Does that really apply and sit with India? Because I think they clearly are on form. Because Umran surely is not in the pecking order below Mukesh, right? Because that's just
It seems
baffling.
like he is now because look, Mukesh debuted. I mean, his selection has come out of the blue because he had a pretty horrible IPL. I think his economy at the death was the worst among all bowlers, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And his overall economy for the season was close to 11, I guess.
yeah.
So I have absolutely no idea how, on what basis Mukesh has been picked, but I'm assuming that they went with the eye test and they feel that okay, this guy has a good Yorker in him, so maybe we can groom him to be a good death bowler. And if you see the way that he's been used in the first two T20s, it's almost like they see him as someone who can bowl in the back end of the innings. So it's a very debatable selection, but let's see what the vision is.
Yeah, I think all the points you mentioned there is like what the Indian team management would say right now. But I also understand why they pick him because they love to mix formats. We've seen that with top order batters, we've seen that with middle order blokes, we've seen that now in Mukesh Kumar's case. Coming back to the game, guys, by the way, 1.13 for none West Indies. And we're watching it on DD. So sync your streams in according to the watch along, and then you guys will have more fun. Oh, another
Ooh.
waft outside off stump. We're also doing the first innings prediction score to win merchandise like this. So have a pop. And remember, the first person in the comments who gets the score bang on wins. So lots of people have been lucky. The last time, I think it was Jagmeet Singh Obra, you called 152 and it was 152. So you have time till the 15th over, don't worry. But we'll keep your comments coming through right now. Cricket Nut Singh, West Indies should not get to host the next World Cup. Pathetic. I think he's taking the inner circle thing into factor.
Should India get to host the World Cup? They have not announced the freaking schedule 2 months ahead of the World Cup. So I think if you're talking about being unprofessional, then West Indies are way, way more professional than the BCCI is. So look, as silly as what they did today might have been, I think they are far better hosts than India at this point. So
that's a big call. And look, it initiates a debate which we'll have at some point in time in the watch along about the World Cup scheduling, the ticketing, the basic nitty gritties that you have to have right 3-4 months before the World Cup. Come on, India, you can't be
2
silly.
months. They have not finalized the schedule. They have not released the tickets,
which is ridiculous.
And they announced a schedule initially, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry, we forgot that
in
certain festivals exist."
Exactly.
Oh, as if like Diwali is coming out of the blue. As
And
if
just
Navratri is
imagine,
coming out of the blue.
Just imagine, Anirudh, the fact that people actually going out of their way to book hotels, all of that on the wrong day now, and that'll also have some repercussions. Pranav, going on to say, Avnish, you've got an odd event from the week to discuss in the next MNL. We were saying it yesterday, very strange reasons. Yeah, we spoke about the Pranav, but going back to your...
Yeah, I mean, I've seen matches get cancelled in other sports due to unforeseen circumstances. Like, for example, when the Queen passed away last year, I think there were folks who had booked their tickets for matches all the way from USA, and that match had to be cancelled.
Yeah, 4, by the way, for the West Indies.
Exactly. But I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen this is incompetence of the highest order from the BCCI.
You expect this in your Cubbon Park, Shantinagar, all these places, right, where the inner circles are marked.
I mean, we hosted an auction Premier League here in this thing cricket.com, and I think that was done way more professionally than the World Cup has been handled by the BCCI.
Oh wow!
But moving on. A big task ahead for India. But the good thing is that the last time they went 0-2 down, they made it 2-2.
Yeah.
Before the fifth match was a washout. That was against South Africa last year.
Correct. And they've actually been pretty good in terms of the do or die record. We'll put up that stat for you as well, because since a particular time zone, which our statsman Anirudh was kind enough to lend us out earlier in the day, it went on to say India in the 13 do or die critical T20 matches, they won 11 of them. And they've lost 1, and I think 1 was a no result. So
the one was the semi-final of the World Cup, was it?
Maybe. Can we just confirm with that with the stats, man? Show us some love by liking this video, please, because look, we're jazzing up our studio. We're getting our audio right these days. And look, essentially, we're all Indian tonight. I'm guessing Nix and Akshay on the Monday Night Live said they want India to lose this series for the greater good. Are you of the same belief?
Look, I don't know, man. I don't know if even if India lose this particular match and the series, I don't think radical changes will happen at all. I think.
But what if they get spanked 4-1 or 5-0? Because they've not looked in control at any
Okay.
point in time in the series,
if,
right?
if they lose 4-1 or final, again, certain players like Samson, who
Oh,
are
that's
scapegoats,
sad.
we know that they are scapegoats.
I know that.
We
I mean,
know
that's sad.
certain
That's true.
players like Samson, Chehel, Kuldeep Yadav,
Yeah, Bishnoi.
Bishnoi, and maybe worst case, Kishan. Maybe I can't think of any other player who will be kind of kicked out despite the result. So if we are looking at a final or a 4-0, so or a 4-1, then the usual suspects, which
Will bite the
BCCI
bullet.
loves to kind of pinpoint and kick them out,
100%.
those guys will be again kicked out. But I'm sure that other players will continue to keep their place.
Yeah.
But serious questions will have to be asked about Hardik Pandya's captaincy and the selection as well, like the not the team selection, the squad selection.
Squad selection, but are you also being surprised because you were doing the live blog, I'm guessing, for the first game or the second game? The second game it was. And were you kind of like looking at it and be like, why are they bowling certain people in certain phases? Like the power play is on right now, 13 for none, 2.1. But Akshar Patel, what's their thinking here?
The thinking is that because Akshar can't bowl outside a power play once Puran and Hetmeyer bat, so Akshar did not bowl a single ball last
So just
match.
kind of use him to the right.
Exactly. And yeah, we saw some absolutely inexplicable captaincy from Hardik in the last match where Chahal took like a couple of wickets and brought the game in India's favor, and then he had an over remaining, but he did not bowl Chahal to Akil Hussain and Alzari Joseph, and they kind of handled the pacers with ease. So yeah, I mean a big 3 matches coming up, a big match coming up first of all, and then a big 3 matches coming up for Hardik as a captain, because let's be honest, he's had it easy so far. The kind of opponents he's faced, the kind of situations and all that.
Yeah.
So this is by far the toughest test Hardik has faced in his short captaincy stint as an India captain, not really going into his IPL captaincy.
Yeah.
So will be interesting to see how Hardik goes, not just as captain but also as player, because mind you, I think
swept away for 4.
Questions need to be answered by Hardik the player as well. And yeah, as we know, he loves to kind of do everything himself, and he's the captain. So
I mean, and some people like that. So people appreciate that. Let us know in the comments, by the way. All you guys watching, really appreciate it on this Tuesday evening. India in a must-win bilateral encounter. Only the matches where they were trailing behind the series, remember? This excludes the series deciders. Matches 13, like I said, 11 won, and 1 loss and no result in the other, with a win percentage of nearly 85. So when the chips are down or when they're pushed behind into a wall, they come out fighting. Invariably, you'll expect India win today. But look, if West Indies just make a statement and go 3-0 up, then there'll be some questions tomorrow morning about all the things that we're discussing right now. There's plenty to be won on the Watchalong, and there's plenty to like as well.
Has he missed out? That was a horrible delivery.
Yeah,
but
that's madness. It's 3 gone, 19 for none. Absolutely ridiculous. Ask us anything, like how Chachant, the Liverpool fan right now, is asking us. And with me and Aniro, there's invariable football chat as well, looking at the Premier League next season. We'll slip it in invariably. If we lose the ODI World Cup, who'll be crucified more, Kohli, Rohit, or Dravid?
I'm sure it'll be first Dravid, second Rohit, or first Rohit and second Dravid. I think Kohli not so much, because he's not the captain. He's not been the captain now for a while.
Yeah.
So, and let's not forget that Dravid has had a good, 3 years to prepare for the ODI World Cup. So, in case things go south,
a good 2 years, yeah,
more than 2 years, you can say. In case things go south, then no doubt that Dravid will have to be held responsible for, for the result, but also the process as well. Did they have a vision? Did they execute the vision properly?
Quickly,
do a proper review.
Because he's got 2.5 years. Quickly, so far, how would you rate him on 10?
5.
5 on 10. That's a fair assessment. Chahal's into the attack, by the way, into Kyle Mayers, who sweeps for 6. Woo! Oh my word, that would have dented the ball, because it's a top tier.
Kyle Mayers is due a big one, isn't he? He's been quiet so far. And that is the bad news for India. They're 2-0 down, despite Brandon King not doing much, despite Kyle Mayers not doing much, despite Hetmeyer not doing much. It's like Puran, 1 match, half match.
1.5.
Sorry, Puran 1 match, and Rahman Paul half match, and India have been completely done. 2-0 down. And this is a 150 par kind of a ground. The average first inning score is 149. And both Powell and Pandya said that they would have batted first
Yeah,
because they expect the wicket to get slow as the match progresses. So India will have their work cut out if they concede more than 150.
which is
So,
crazy. And
yep.
I told you the dent is there in the ball, or they've got it back.
Wasn't this?
When did Avnish become Jadeja PR in Test cricket? At least there is logic in T20s, barring Dhoni. Other captains haven't used him. Plus, in the West Indies, so he's a liability than an asset. Look, we're going to instigate again that chat that we've had in the first T20 International. And this is my point to Akshay, who was doing it with me at that point in time. He said he would rather play Akshay Patel over Jadeja. And I'm not just going by IPL evidence or the recency bias. I just think he's more for value add. I'm not just saying, oh, batting wise, he's better, or Akshay's better, or bowling wise, or whatever. There's just a lot of advantages with Jadeja, the cricketer. There could be advantages with Akshay, the cricketer. But if you personally had to ask me, I'll pick Jadeja on my team in that World Cup next year. People might differ.
If I'm being honest, I have my reservations about both.
Okay.
And I have my reservations right now about Jadeja, the batter, especially after.
Fair.
I know that he won the IPL with a 6 and a 4, but still he had a poor season overall with the bat. And yeah, he's a decent bowler. He'll do a job for you.
I'm just saying experience. He's got the T20 pedigree. He's got that little bit of class
let
in the
me
field.
ask a very straightforward question to you. Are either of
a missed stumping there? No, it's just going to go for buys.
That's gone through everyone. And Sanju keeping today. So look, all eyes will be on him.
The magnifying glass will be on him.
So yeah, is Akshar an X factor or is Jadeja an X factor? Is either player an X factor in your eyes?
Akshar is in. Jadeja, I think
you should have corrected it.
I think Jadeja is an X factor in the field.
And that's a missed stumping.
That's a missed stumping.
That is a missed stumping.
But I don't want to go on about it because it's Sanju, and Chahal can react like that because he won't be happy with his Rajasthan Royals captain. But look, sometimes that happens. 30 for none, 3.3.
Yeah, off to an absolute flyer. And we saw in the first 2 matches as well how important it is to just utilize the power play.
Exactly.
Because the wicket gets slower and slower. And I loved it that Puran, despite coming in at like 2 for 2 in the last match, 2 wickets for Pandya in the first over, just whacked the shit out of everyone. And then West Indies had 61 for 3 by the end of the power play.
I mean, quite ridiculous that run chases.
Oh my God.
They nearly
the ball
cocked it
absolutely
up as well.
died. So
for sure.
It's going to be tough work chasing.
And like you said, like the captain mentioned in the toss as well, the pitch is going to deteriorate. Excited about Yashasvi's debut. Not agree with the Bishnoi decision. Would back him in T20s. I fully agree with you, sports fan. Bishnoi, I mean, the last T20 he played before he got thrown in was against Pakistan in October last year in the Asia Cup, right? And then similar with something like Abish Khan as well. He's in the squad. He's not got a gig this time around. I'm guessing if Mukesh, dare I say, hobbles off after this one, 4th and 5th, you slot him in, I'm guessing, more than Umran Malik.
Yeah, I mean, see, considering this,
like for like.
This is in the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things, this is at the end of the day still a very inconsequential series.
Yeah.
So you need to be ready to lose 5-0. You know, if it means that you kind of, thank you. If
Horlicks biscuits for the win.
It's a Horlicks biscuit. Wow.
Horlicks biscuits.
If it means that you try out everyone, then sure, go ahead and try out everyone. Because at the end of the day, in these kind of series and matches, you need to utilize the opportunity to try out players. So yes, I think you need to give opportunities to everyone. I'll be disappointed if either Avesh or Umran don't get a single match.
I get those points, but just what this happened there, because we miffed it because of the ad. I think there was another little bit of an opportunity there to get Mayers out, and Akshat continuing to the left-handers. 30 for none, 4.2. Get your questions in, and we're really ahead of most of y'all in terms of the digital viewing, because that's the advantage of good old DD Sports, because they're 10 seconds ahead, no matter where you guys are watching it. And yeah, I just popping on some munchies. Tell me what you guys are eating. You got our tea.
What is your review of the Horlicks biscuit out of 10? Whacked away. Is it going straight to the fielder? Nope.
Oh my word. Horlicks biscuit, bro. This is not a general Horlicks biscuit. It says millet biscuits.
Okay. I mean, so it's a health conscious.
It's a health conscious biscuit. So it's good for bathtub as well.
Do they put how much added sugar and all that?
I think they should, but they'll be in such fine form. But on the topic of biscuits, which is your favorite childhood biscuit? And let us know in the comments as well. Favorite childhood biscuit?
Bourbon, I guess.
Bourbon?
And then also the
Jim Jam?
Yes, of course. And then the
Milk
the
bickies.
milk bickies one with the smiley
Oh,
face.
those are so cute.
Those are goated, man.
Those are brilliant. And those are the OG Indian biscuits. I mean, I know people will say hide and seek and Milano and all these new ones right now, but I don't know. Biscuits, food for thought. Just in case we can't figure out the best two spinners out of Kuldeep, Chahal, and Bishnoi, how about we pick who the most ready with that bat in hand? And I kept thinking about this because all of them basically don't give you anything with a bat.
All are mugs with the bat right now.
All are mugs with a bat. The only leg spinner who can bat in the country is Rahul Chahar, apparently. Apparently,
he's better than these guys, but he's still not an all-rounder.
Actually, Shreyas Gopal, but he's lost in the wilderness. And I love Shreyas. He's a good old friend. But
Riyan Parag is there.
Riyan Parag, man.
Talking about leg spinners who can bat. But
Varun Chakravarti can't bat.
Look, I just addressing Anand's point. I feel that in West Indies, you can afford to have finger spinners because you see in the CPL year in and year out, the guys who are at the top of the charts in wicket taking and economy and all those metrics are finger spinners. Your Akil Hussain, your Roston Chase, your Imad Wasim.
Exactly.
And all these guys are the ones who are dominating the CPL. And you can see here as well the way Hussain has performed in the first two matches. We'll see Roston Chase later on today as well.
Oh, pulled away for 4, Anirudh.
Yep, and it's a great start so far. Just coming back to my point, we'll see Roston Chase later on as well. So, it's okay to pick maybe even a couple of finger spinners. And I would love to see Tilak Verma being used with the ball as well. He can bowl off spin. I won't say I was baffled, but I was slightly disappointed that Hardik did not use Tilak Verma in the last match when Puran and Hetmeyer were batting together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, sure, you're not bowling Akshar Patel because there are two left-handers. I can understand that. Then why don't you bowl Tilak Verma because he's an off-spinner? And we've seen in the IPL that Tilak Verma sometimes has the knack of picking wickets. He's a decent enough
and the best opportunity to bleed in someone like Tilak Verma, the bowlers in these series.
Exactly. And the more you bowl him in these kind of situations, the better he'll get.
Exactly.
The better he'll get, the more you'll trust him. So it's like, it's one thing leads to another. But the first thing must be to first starting to trust him in these kind of matches, low pressure situations. And then as the World Cup nears, go ahead and, use him more and more. And then he can be your out of the box option in a World Cup potentially. But if you're not going to use him here, then you're not going to develop him at all.
No, I fully agree with that.
Because let's be honest, with the impact player rule coming in, nobody's using part-timers.
Exactly.
At all.
It's all specialists.
Yeah.
Before we take Tushar's comment, just go back to that comment of the spinners. And I'll just like to add here with regards to his point, because he's mentioned a couple of good points there, one of which in West Indies in the World Cup next year, you can get away with a couple of finger spinners and you don't have to kind of go for the proper leg spinner. But now when I think a few names, 1 second, there's one man there. Yeah, just a single, sorry. 38 for none, 5.5. Now that I think of a few international names probably playing that World Cup next year, Shamsi, Theeksana, Zampa, you'll need one of those kind of buggers to have in your team. Or do you think India
Theeksana
again?
Is not a leg spinner though. He's a mistake spinner.
I know, but he has a ball to go the other way.
But Zampa is Zampa, right? I mean, at the end of the day, Zampa is Zampa. Everyone has India do have a quality leg spinner, but Australia can afford to play Zampa because Cummins can bat, Stark can bat.
True.
That's why they can afford to play Zampa. But you have Indian pacers are also mugs with the bat. Bumrah, okay, he's improving, but he's still not anywhere near your top.
But explain me this: the last time a T20 World Cup happened in a slowish conditions place was Dubai, and they threw in Varun Chakravarti.
Yes, but Dubai is not comparable to West Indies.
But do you think someone like him will thrive in the Caribbean?
Yes, but he's clearly not in the picture at all, unfortunately. He's not been picked for the Ireland series. He's not been picked for the Asian Games, which features Gaikwad as the captain and a bunch of kids. So...
And Beijing have ranked turners, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know about that. By the way, it is, of course, substitution time with regards to the power play being done right now. Kuldeep will come on to bowl. West Indies, a solid, steady start, some would say, in this pitch. 38 for none, 6 gone. And we'll make a small little change as I'll take a small little breather. And there'll be another man replacing me in terms of similar stature of height, but he's way, way more attractive.
biscuits. Hardik, what is your favorite? What was your favorite childhood biscuit?
Oh, so I don't know about the childhood one, but I used to love the old Horlicks ka biscuit. But now this one comes without maida, so this one
Okay, yeah.
sucks. So I used to order like that big packet of old Horlicks biscuit, but now I still feel like Marigold is like the one. Oh,
Okay, so just as we speak, Mayas has started the post power play with the boundary. But
Yeah.
I'll just take this question from Mayur. Thoughts on Australia likely World Cup squad put out yesterday is no Labuschagne a shock. I don't think so personally, because if you look at his numbers, he's played 16 ODIs since the start of 2022 and he's averaging around 26 and his strike rate is less than 75.
Overall as well, right? He's
Overall,
in
he's
the
a-
early 30s.
Not even early. Yeah, exactly. He's like 30 points something barely.
Yeah.
Oh!
Short, that's 6.
Is that a 6 or has he hold out?
Where is it? Dude, this camera work.
It's a
You have to
6.
guess. Yeah. Oh, it's 6.
So West Indies off to an absolute flyer here. But coming back to the discussion about Australia, I think it's a pretty good squad because as we saw in the India series they played a couple of months back, Mitchell Marsh clearly took his spot. He made his spot his own.
Yeah.
That was the only slot available for Labuschagne to slot in at number 3 or number 4. But since they have Smith at number 3, who's an anchor, and since there's already David Warner, who's an anchor up top, there is Alex Carey, who can anchor. So why do you need another Labuschagne? You can instead utilize it to play someone like a Mitchell Marsh or a Marcus Stoinis or a Cameron Green, who can provide you a bowling option as well, and that will allow them to possibly play 2 spinners as well. You can play Agar and Zampa if you
Zampa,
have
yeah.
an all-rounder playing. So I think completely justified leaving out Labuschagne.
Like India can borrow Labuschagne
Which-
because we need someone who can bowl in the top 6.
which is exactly the kind of bold decision I would love to see India make, like
Well-
leaving a player of Labuschagne stature out of the squad, for example. Be bold enough to make such a call.
Who will you drop if you have to drop one from the top 5?
We'll get back to that. We'll ask this question to the viewers, but
Yeah.
Rohan is asking me what is the education degree and how did I get into the profession. Okay, so I did my computer science engineering, so I'm not a qualified journalist, I have to say. And then I got into a fantasy gaming company as a social media intern in 2017. So / content intern, I was doing both social media internship and content internship, and from there I progressed to handling that fantasy games content related stuff, and I worked there for a couple of more years. I worked on multiple roles from there, including operations, marketing, and all that. I did everything, and then I finally took up my first proper writing job in 2019, and in another Bangalore based website. So since then I've been doing writing only for the last 4 years now. So just learning on the job basically.
No, but now you have reached at the top level.
What
so
video
it's
as well?
cricket.com.
Oh yes.
Short.
Oh, that was so casual, but it's
Nikhil.
gone to the boundary.
Oh, we'll have one more guy with us. Nikhil will be joining us from Mumbai.
And is Gurkirat
Yeah.
joining now? Not yet. So we say hello to Nikhil. And Nikhil, what are your first thoughts? A bit flat from India so far? Do or die match?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm right, but I feel they've kind of overcompensated.
Oh
That's
my
catch.
That's a
god.
wicket, so I brought a wicket. I
That's
think
out.
so.
Unless
Yes. Oh,
Finally.
and Akshar Patel has dismissed a left-hander. Wow, didn't know that could happen. But kind of still, I think India have overcompensated a bit in terms of using people. Again, it's a very tricky road to be on. That you say that overcompensated when you did not bowl spin in the previous game, but
Yeah.
maybe there was enough swing to extract. They did not go after it at all. Straight away went to spin, which is fine. But let's see how they come back from here, because so far, apart from that one stumping that Samson missed, you haven't seen enough chances created. So this was one which was well held, which also told you that Akshar Patel can dismiss left-handers. Just use him.
Yeah. Which is interesting because, like we were discussing earlier, he did not bowl a single ball in the previous match, and now he's into his third over already.
Yeah.
Right,
I
third
think
or
both
second.
Chahal
third
or
over.
him will bowl 5 overs in this match.
Yeah,
just to-
and it's now almost clear that they see Mukesh Kumar as a death specialist. Is it? I mean, that's the way they've been using him, right, all
I mean,
throughout
if
the
Mukesh
series.
Kumar is our death bowler, then
So okay, this is my question to everyone. Just because someone has a good Yorker, does it mean that they are a death specialist? I mean, we've seen that certain bowlers execute Yorkers at the start of their careers, and then what happens is that the more and more they come under pressure, that Yorker turns into a full toss, a length ball, a slot ball, and then when you don't have other tools to back it up, you kind of suddenly become very ineffective at the death.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of this decision or the vision of India to, kind of force fit Mukesh Kumar as a death bowler just because he has a good Yorker?
I mean, if you have to be a good death bowler, I don't feel it's just the Yorkers, because someone like Malinga, who is considered to be like one of the greatest death bowlers of all time, he didn't just rely on like
Hi,
Yorkers.
Rajesh. Good to see you, bro.
And so I feel like with Mukesh, it's just like a stopgap once Bumrah and everyone comes back. So Siraj.
Okay. I have another question as well. I'll let Nikhil answer this, and I'm sure he'll have no answer. So, how did Mukesh, jump Umran Malik in the pecking order when Mukesh, in fact, had a worse season than Umran Malik for the Delhi Capitals in the IPL? I know he played more matches probably, but economy-wise, I think Mukesh was worse.
Last season, right?
Yes.
Umran was terrible.
10 point something. What was Mukesh's numbers again? It was again, economy was around 10, if I'm not wrong, in the IPL.
I know.
But see, there are many things that actually go in favor of Mukesh over Umran. Firstly and primarily, the thing that India loves the most, that's control. So while they were very excited with the pace bit, I think the lack of control that was evident from Umran is what probably tilted. The second obsession is the all format obsession, that if you know he's a good red ball bowler, but he has a good Yorker. So let's try him and see where he goes with it. Completely agree with your point on just having one skill doesn't make you expert in that. And Hardik also said Malinga also had different varieties to rely on if that Yorker did not land well. So he had a very good bouncer, a very dipping slower one as well. So you have to add variety to your armory. And third is the eye test, the end all and the be all of Indian cricket, that if they feel he's done better in nets, then they will back him, which is, again, right, wrong, or a fair way to go. But sometimes it does come at the expense of somebody else, which, again, we've seen this happen everywhere, literally everywhere.
So I just checked Mukesh's numbers. It's economy of 10.52 last year in the IPL. This year, as in the IPL.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can bowl at the end, which Umran cannot at all at this point in time.
He can't get ball in the box.
So
exactly. So
yeah, safe to say that Umran has been ruled out as a potential contender for next year's World Cup. I mean, we all thought that after the debacle in this thing in Australia last year, where everyone felt that India had three bowlers who were pretty much the same, Bhuvi, Shami, and I forgot who was the third pacer in last year's World Cup. Bhuvi, Shami, and am I missing someone? Who was India's third pacer in the semi-final?
Sorry.
Bhuvi, Shami, was it Hardik?
I don't think Hardik bowled in the.
But I mean, I remember the chat around India being that the one dimension.
Umesh there?
Umesh?
No. He just came back for like some random T20.
Siraj was not there. That I remember.
No.
Was Deepak Chahar there? Yeah, but I remember there was a lot of chatter about the one-dimensionality of India's pace attack. Arshdeep, yes, Arshdeep, yes. But everyone felt that they needed a point of difference who can kind of bowl like 150 clicks. But looks like India won't have it next year. But I don't think you need that kind of a bowler for West Indies conditions, though.
Yeah, and also I don't think Umran has done anything to like demand his place in the Indian setup as of now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
bhai saab.
Yeah.
Is Charles going to
That's it,
play
well.
that knock which he played against
South Africa. Finally, we have King Charles playing for the first time this series.
Yeah, but do you think India have overused spin already, or is it just me?
I think they've come with
Overcompensate.
they have come in with a plan that okay, we are going to bowl out spin by 12 overs, and then we are going to give 8 overs to Arshdeep and Mukesh and let them deal with pressure. And
180.
I'm sure that the post-match presentation, Hardik will say the same, that they wanted to experiment and this that. So don't be surprised. Also, it's a very clever tactic that Puran can't hit spin if you don't have any spin left by the time he comes to bat. So you know,
We'll have Gurkirat joining
that's
us.
one way of stopping Puran.
Yeah.
But yes,
Gurkirat.
yes. On that note, we'll add, our very own blockbuster, aggressive batter in.
Today I'm also wearing the merchandise. No better way to promote the merchandise.
And I just see a very fancy studio setup for Gurkeet today. Like background is very. There I can see fancy effects and all. Is that the light for Gurkeet? Like
It's
this?
just the light, nothing else. No fancy
Okay.
effects. It's the same setup as every day.
It is very poetic that the light is shining on Gill.
Oh, by the way, is it Akshar's fourth over by any chance?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think
my
India
God.
have, as we felt, as I feel at least, that they felt that okay, last game we did not use spin well. This is dry. Let's use up spin as much as you want to. But then it feels like, I don't know, lots
Yeah.
to look forward to. There was a comment from a former cricketer. I don't want to name him here, and he said that Hardik needs a more proactive captain. Please have your say on whether you believe it, or do you think captains should be more accountable for what they do, rather than pour the blame on the guy who's likely to go out.
No, what was the statement? I missed it.
So Hardik gets a lot of support from Nehra at Gujarat, but here is not the case. So he needs a more proactive coach.
Okay.
Maybe he needs Rashid Khan and Alzari Joseph and I don't know.
Answer.
Yeah, and Mohit Sharma. Who knows? But if Gurkirat can take Vaishali's question here, do you think Arshdeep and Hardik should have bowled at least one more over? If I'm not wrong, we have seen only 2 overs of pace so far in this entire
That was the first
innings in 10 overs. Yes. So
I mean, yeah, could have, because as we've been discussing, that there's been an overload of spin and there was some swing available early on, even in the last game. So perhaps they could have, but it just seems at this point of time that they are trying to overcompensate for whatever that they did not do in the last game. So yeah, I mean, by it's sort of expected, because that's how the team has functioned. If you look at it in the last year or year and a half, they've just looked to overcompensate sometimes, even when those tactics may not be right for that situation. So it's been like that. But anyway, let's hope that India can keep West Indies to around 150 and not let them score more than that, because again, I expected Jaswal to come in today, but I expected India to drop one of the three spinners and have batting till 8. But again, they have batting till 7 today. And yeah, it was expected that they will drop Chahal if they will drop Bishnoi if Kuldeep is fit, and that's what happened. If you look at it, Bishnoi is being dropped again on the basis of one bad over.
I don't think he's been dropped. So I don't think he's dropped. He's just not
never-
playing because Kuldeep is fit.
Yeah, pretty much.
The problem with that drop is that if your plan was to use a spinner in the power play, then it's a stupid call to drop Bishnoi, because he offers you far more as a power play option than Chahal. Chahal
Yeah.
got you wickets in the last one, but he's played for a decade now, and you know that he enjoys bowling post power play. That is his best area. So I think again, just another case of India just being in their bubble, and that this is our plan A now for the day. We will stick to it no matter what.
yeah, and I'm just like kind of thinking it's going to be a very, very tough job for the management to kind of zero in on their best wrist spinner by the time the World Cup comes, because it feels like Kuldeep is decent, but he's never performed enough to kind of steer well ahead of Chahal. And Chahal has never been consistently poor at, I mean, maybe sometimes for India, but he always, by the time the IPL comes, he's always taking 20, 30 wickets and absolutely killing it. So, yeah, good luck finding your.
Can you have a fly keeper? Because here,
But we have a flying anchor now because I'm going to take a
Oh.
break. And, Avnish is going to replace me. So,
okay, nice.
let's.
That's towards Andy.
Welcome back, guys. I don't know if we're watching a game which is happening in Chennai or Guyana, because by the looks of it, 8.2 overs out of the 10.2 Hardik. And so, welcome from Amsterdam. And next, what's happening?
Chayana में चल रहा है match.
I mean, they're preparing for, they're honestly preparing for Chennai, bro. They're preparing for all these line tennis. By the way, how's life in Amsterdam? Lots of people have been asking about you on these lives. You're looking quite comfortable, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, finally I have a couch to sit on. That's the only difference.
But yeah, I mean, have you been watching any cricket and how do you follow it there? Just for my
YouTube पे free में आ रहे हैं यार. They're just streaming it on YouTube.
Really? Is it
Yeah.
that simple?
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. Right, Kuldeep, has he got a wicket here? It looks close. And they might go upstairs here, India. Because the umpiring has been shocking. I don't know if you've been seeing the series much, Som, but the umpiring has just been diabolical, bro.
Yeah, I saw how Puran agrees with you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think he's done a Kohli, Hardik Pandya. Last
Shouldn't
minute TRS. Last second, I should say.
Like Pranav mentioned, like Hardik spoke about they have a plan of dealing with Puran, and that is not to let him bat.
Yeah.
Just strategic drop. So Indian trademark looks at social media. Oh, Indian team management, beg your pardon, looks at social media comments. Sorry. Strategy every match. No, man. I wish they did, but I don't think they will.
I mean,
I don't
see. Don't you guys feel it's a little too harsh? All of this, discussion happening over this series. I mean, see, first and foremost, if you've selected a squad against West Indies without an off spinner, you've made it clear that we are not very serious about this series. So,
True.
I mean, ultimately, I don't think there is any way in which this current coach and captain can balance the 11 out.
Hold on, Som, because there is a wicket here for Kuldeep Yadav. It's pitching all three reds, and another umpiring error comes to light. Johnson Charles this time goes back, and I think his misery has just ended. 14 balls for his 12 runs. And yeah, I mean, one point over there, it just makes you think what they're thinking this series is. I mean, do you think anything in their minds is thinking about the World Cup next year?
I mean, if you're actually thinking about the World Cup, I don't think you'll have someone like Kuldeep batting at 8.
Yeah.
And guys like him should be at, I'm not talking about his batting, but you should have a batsman of his caliber at 8 or 9 in T20. Someone like, say, Chris Wokes or someone. Wait.
See, if you think about the World Cup, I think there is no way India cannot have either Washington Sundar or Ashwin at it. Because you need an off spinner, yeah. I mean, it's a T20. I mean, most good teams have good left-handers, so you cannot not have a off spinner in your 11. And that's the only way.
So there's Sundar and Ashwin, right?
Yeah, we just basically keep Sundar preserved for the World Cup. I mean, just play him in, let him play the IPL, and then that's it. I mean, just the only hope is he shouldn't get injured during the IPL.
I also want to check, would you guys have someone like, say, Parag, or even someone who hasn't really done well in IPL or T20, but you'd still
take a punt.
Have a role for him, like someone like England did for Tung,
who
was averaging in the 40s, but they still got him for a particular role, and I think he did his job. So
Mhm.
say a person for a certain role, even if they don't have like a great IPL record in the first class, and give him like few games, see like how the team combination looks. Doesn't have
You
to
already
be
have,
one.
you already have Sky in ODIs, Kishan in T20s for that.
Mm. I mean,
That
actually,
is
if you think about it tactically, even having someone like Nitish Rana in the T20 setup is not a bad idea. At least he can bowl, and he's not that bad a batter, right?
Yeah, 100%. But Anirudh was here a while ago and he had a certain theory, which he said, look, you look at some of the left arm spinners going around in the T20 scheme of things who'll play the next World Cup. Akil Hussain, for example. Then there's Santner, then there's Imad Wasim. There are plenty of them. It's fine to believe, and this is what he said, go in with just two left arm spinners and back your batters because left arm spin also is a threat. And I understand that left-hander theory negates that threat, but how far do you guys sit with that theory? Do you think that something that India can do is play Akshar, Jadeja, and Kuldeep?
See, Kuldeep you
No
can
spin.
because Kuldeep takes the ball away.
Correct.
So that's okay. Like, but again, yeah, but those two left arm spinners will have to offer something with the bat.
Yeah.
So
And where you use them as well. And basically, if Akshar and Jadeja play, invariably they're going to be batting at 7 and 8, not higher than that, not lower than that, because the team management won't trust them to like deliver goods.
no, but with Kuldeep, I also feel is like against left-hander, he can still be targeted on West Indies surfaces.
Yeah.
Because he has side bowling quicker through there these days, but still someone like Puran or like someone who's quick off the fit can still line him up compared to someone like say Sundar or Ashwin, who's like Ashwin, of course not like someone like Sundar who's more quicker through the air and doesn't give you that much space.
Yeah, I mean, Ashwin's actually a very good shot. I don't know why people are writing him off in T20s. I mean, just for the World Cup, like you said.
He's the World Cup expert only.
I mean,
forget about him and like we want to move on from Ashwin and then
so
by
we
the
won't
time
be
comes,
surprised if Ashwin makes the World Cup 11, right?
oh no, man. I mean, it's
Or do you think you'll be really
that'll be
surprised?
sad
Yeah.
for the Indian cricket if Ashwin is playing the T20.
This-
No, because off spinner desperation, Nick, would you bring in Ashwin? Because Sundar,
No.
obviously, God bless his injuries. But would you bring in
No.
Ashwin? No.
No. The ship is
Som,
sailed.
got your head. Ashwin, no Ashwin.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer Sundar, but if only Sundar is fit,
Hmm.
they
Okay,
have
you
to
know.
have at least one off spinner. Yeah, I mean, you cannot have
Yeah.
no off spinners when they'll need an off spinner against West Indies, they'll need an off spinner against England. So we have to have at least one.
अरे पर
Next is-
matchups are overrated.
Yeah, go on, Nick. Sorry.
Matchups are overrated. और फिर भी अक्षर पटेल को एक भी over मत कराओ. I mean, you have to
And
be in one boat, right?
today-
You can't be. I mean, to lack of a better word, I wanted to use the F word, but you cannot just sit around at both the ends of spectrum. कि matchups are overrated, so we won't take an off spinner. Matches are overrated, but yet we won't bowl one of the bowlers who is part of the 11. I mean, this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, which is why just thankfully good that Akshar Patel took a wicket of Mayers today. That it just tells you that if the bowler is good enough, he will take care of the batter. At the end,
Hmm.
it's about having a good plan, having a good backup plan that okay, if this is what happens, this is how we go about it. And as Hardik also said, just to add to that, I don't think there are enough people in the world who are batting very well in the middle order. So come the World Cup in West Indies, I see things could change, but I don't see too many people batting like Puran. Puran is one of the very few who can bat spin very well and hit spin so cleanly regularly. So, and again, I think with Indian cricket, it's way too early to take a call on who will be part of the squad because you'll have 3 random guys coming up
Yeah.
next year.
But
And
I
I think
also
IPL
Yeah.
will inevitably govern who's there in the squad, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because one bad IPL, Rahul Tripathi is totally out of contention. It can very well happen to anyone who's in the team right now.
Oh, absolutely. Pranav Anand, by the way, going on to say we're not riding Ash off. We're just afraid by the time the World T20 comes, we will have almost the same score as the 2021 load. If that's the case, even Varun Chakravarti will be in the scene, by the way, if you're going by that logic. And also, just want to say, like this particular video because I realize that 34 of you guys are tuning in right now. Ask us pretty much everything, and you guys have an opportunity to win merchandise like the one that I'm wearing before the 15th over. Tell us how much West Indies is scoring in the first innings on this diabolical batting surface right here, right now. Are you guys going 145? We'll start with the boys in terms of where West Indies can get to in terms of setting a target tonight. What are we thinking? Given the surface, you go first.
1280.
Yeah.
So, 147.
147. Okay, sticking his neck out.
Mukesh Kumar.
Mukesh Kumar to pluck things back. Knicks, higher or lower? 147.
I think to me the entire game depends on Puran. He stays in, they get 160. If not, then in the 140s.
So your gut feel is what, 160 or 140?
I'll be very honest with this team. I don't get a gut feel now. They do things very randomly. So they've completely killed that skill.
No, and I understand why, because they nearly cocked up that run chase in the second T20, but they got home by the skin of the teeth. So what are you suggesting from Amsterdam? 147? Surely you'd like to see a Puran party, or India to go?
I'm thinking 165.
165. Okay, 147, 165. And I mean, I'll get into the mix by saying 158 to just make it much more entertaining. Somesh is in total Caribbean style chill, Watchalong mode, saying Vikas Shukla. Yeah, I mean, he's wearing the cricket.com t-shirt there, so good on him to carry it to the Netherlands. It has a little bit of the orange tinge as well, so I think they'll be happy with that. But yeah, just going back to one of the controversial calls we've made on the Watchalong in this series, and this is basically between me and Akshay. Now, if you guys have to pick one or the other to take to the World Cup, 1 second.
That's 6.
Sorry, this chat can wait because Puran has gone downtown. And like Nick said, you never know, because if Puran's there initially, I mean, it's crazy. So, Somesh, what happened to your 2-0, 3-0 final prediction winning against?
I mean, everyone knows what I said, that's the ideal scenario. As in, the difference between the two teams is such that this should have been the result. But I mean, we all know what has happened to it. I mean, it was not a prediction.
Oh my word!
Oh, mid-wicket.
He's done a Maxwell, Nicholas Maxwell. What is that shot?
What a shot!
Proper, complete control. Yeah.
Complete control. I mean, talk about improvisation, dude. Has he ever played the shot in his life?
I haven't seen him hit one over like
Same.
Yeah.
Not over
Yeah.
mid-wicket like that. That's a joke.
Yeah,
So where-
square. Yeah.
pitch wala thing, like over covers or mid-wicket.
In the wagon wheel.
Oh yeah.
I think
I think it does go over cover only. The short
Yeah.
type doesn't get described. So yeah.
people are still being relatively modest in their predictions. Sanjay Papageri 149, Sportsfan 142. I
That's
think
15 overs prediction.
15 overs prediction right now. You can change it, by the way. You can revise it. Yesterday, Jagmeet Singh Oberoi won some goodies. So he's DM'd us and we've got to be shipping his merchandise to him. There's 7 more overs. And I get a gut feel that King's going to get out right now. I'm putting the markers on him.
Wow.
So he's going to literally give Kuldeep a second breakthrough right now, even though it's been an expensive over. And I don't know how Hardik Pandya is just going to use the death over scene. Mukesh, Arshdeep, and maybe a Chahal.
To all the 20th over. Hopefully.
20 over expert. 167 saying Akshay the Leech. 13 gone, 93 for 2. So yeah, just back to my whole controversial chat with Akshay the other day. The World Cup in West Indies next year, Jadeja or Akshay. You can only choose one. Tell me your reasons why. Let's go. Jadeja or Akshay. This is your personal opinion. Don't care about the world. Who would you take if you would draft it?
I'll go with Jadeja. What? Like, just one man in the squad or in the 11?
No, as in the 11. One man in the
Okay, Akshar Patel then. But I want Jadeja in the squad to field.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Fair. Somesh?
Yeah, I'll take Jadeja because I'll have Sundar in the 11, who would essentially be that power play spinner. So there's no need for 2 power play spinners.
Okay, and is it going to be all 3 Jadeja from a CSK fan? Surely, Knicks?
No, I'll actually keep Aksar first and then get in Jadeja. So in that order, because we want batting on slower surfaces. Had it been Australia, then Jadeja first.
All right, because I was asking you guys this just to prove a point to Akshay, A, and B, when I was kind of listing down my idealistic dream 11 for the next year's World Cup, I had Jadeja purely because we could use him like how CSK used Jadeja, which is beautiful. He had the people of Dubey and Raidu around him, so he didn't have to be really batting, but he's still a class player, dude. I probably want like 10 of 2. Akshar, can he do it? He can't do it.
I mean,
He can, but the chances
so
are
you
minimal.
need the, like what Manjrekar said about him now, bits and pieces.
Oh, that kind of
You
vibe.
actually need such players in T20.
Oh my word. Thank you so much for going to Amsterdam and convincing Netherlands to come to Alur, saying Pramod Anand.
15 interviews.
और भी कुछ करना हो तो बता देना यार, मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं है,
लेके आ सकता है
घर की बात है.
And this is Pramod, who of course took that podcast, or the vodcast, should we say, on cricket.com with, who was it, Tom Cooper in a bathrobe. If you guys haven't seen that piece of content, that's quite crazy with our statsman in there as well. But
only if you're above 18.
only if you're above 18.
I
That
mean,
was
exactly.
disclaimer.
He's taken a podcast or a podcast with a guy in a bathroom with a statsman there.
Tom Cooper, good old Tom Cooper. Keep your comments coming through. Ask us anything with regards to this diabolical series. There will be Gurkirat who'll pop in a bit. He also has his show on Thursday and we'll be doing the watchalongs on the weekend. I think you might get to see our little friend, and I say little in terms of Shubh. The return of Shubh is there on the watchalongs on Sunday. He was not a happy man because we cancelled him in the last show. And he told me, he said, "Ye mat karo bhai." And I was like, cool, I'll promise you a slot on the weekend for sure.
I have one question,
Go on.
which is, I mean, if you say like how many more defeats it'll take India to bring those people back, someone like Kohli or Rohit. I know I say this because when Butler was made England's captain, I think they started with like, they lost quite a few games at the start. But I don't think the Indian captain or any new Indian captain will get that liberty. यहाँ पे, or like एक या दो series हारे, so by the time you lose another series, people will start talking about getting at least someone like Rahul or Kohli back in the setup. So do you feel like ये public का pressure भी जो होता है, उससे अपन घूम फिर के वही team में, we keep talking about Ashwin, which is sad. He should come out and say like, if you still need me in a country where you're feeling like you can create 3 teams and win any competition in the world, and you still have to go back to Ashwin and everyone. So it's.
I think he's brought a great point there. Just before you say that, Som, my takeaway from that is it depends the manner in which they lose the series. If they get walloped 4-1, or if they lose the series today, or albeit 5-0 and it's like a brown wash and all of that.
This series, you know, if you look at this series, like if you look at the squad, if this is an ideal squad for a T20, it's not.
But is that,
You have Aksar at 7 and you're batting ends there.
but is that India being too cocky then, just taking West Indies lightly?
No, I think this is just them not giving a F about this series, I feel, because I'm sure, see, bowling will get better once Bumrah comes back, or like you have Siraj comes back, but you still need batters.
Yeah.
At least till 8 or 9.
Does this smell overconfidence, Som?
See, there are quite a few pointers to look into here. I mean, first and foremost, like Hardik said, that firstly, the management has to be very clear about what were their expectations from this series. Because ultimately, yeah, I mean, the squad itself is lopsided. They've selected far too many bowlers, or uske baad, even then they don't have an off spinner. And you can't have so many tailenders in the 11, which they won't be in the World Cup. There is absolutely no chance you're going to carry so many tailenders. Among the pacers, they've selected literally the 2 worst performing pacers in the IPL this season, Umran Malik and Mukesh Kumar. So ultimately, the squad that has been selected is keeping in mind that you need to preserve certain players for the ODIs. So that should be taken into consideration. Second, I mean, see, ultimately you have to talk about individuals as well. I know, I mean, all of us are a big fan of Sanju Samson, right? But at the end of the day, there has to be a point where he has to start delivering. I mean, he's not a rookie anymore. I mean, let's say if India lose 5-0, that means Samson would have failed in at least 4 games. So, I mean, that's not on, right? And then you're asking for certain hard decisions to be made. So ultimately, you can't blame management for everything. I mean, if they're trying new things, go back to tried and tested. If they go back to tried and you're not trying new things. Ultimately, it has to come down to individuals as well. I mean, if you turn back the clock, I think 2015 World Cup for England, if I'm not mistaken, Morgan was the captain, and they lost to Bangladesh and all, and were evicted in the first round itself. So I mean, they would have also felt ki bhai, let's go back to Cook and Anderson and whatnot, because this is not working. But that's not the case. You have to start setting an example, and you have to give certain players, certain group of players time.
Finally,
Gone, sorry, Som, but Nick's that is Nicholas Poor.
Yeah,
He's
I'm like 5 seconds behind you guys, so mere mein ab out.
Highlights देख रहे हो.
But yeah, I just
problem
think
with
because
so
in
and just to finish off, the last thing is my biggest bone of contention with this management. I know it's absolutely harsh to blame Dravid for the T20 T20 losses. It's not on at all. I mean, whatever certain player would have said about Hardik not getting support, it's just crap. But the bigger point with me regarding this management is they change a lot. I mean, ideally you should be operating with a very fixed bunch of players. I mean, across formats you should just restrict your team to 20-20-20. But this management just keeps on trying players. So inevitably, what happens is when the crucial juncture comes in, you have to go back with known faces or faces which sell better.
But one of the points you mentioned there is the fact that this series is being picked, the squad at least, keeping the ODIs in mind. That'll always happen in this chock-a-block of cricket, which you're going to see in the next 4 or 5 years. So that's why India are mixing formats, I'm guessing, Nix, even though that's not the best way forward.
I just don't think they're planning long term. I think everything is very, very short term in terms of let's look at this series now, we'll look at that later, and then you try and give people chances in that format. It's not required. If you have a separate pool for every format, then giving chances to others is not a problem, because then you are only limiting yourself to those options from that pool for that format. So I think the point about Hardik saying, going back to Rohit and Virat, if the team management continues to experiment so randomly in terms of roles and individuals that are backed, then you will eventually be in a state where you're like, what have you done? That you have given chances to almost everybody, but yet you haven't settled on a unit and given them enough games together.
Yeah.
So that is what I think will take a call. And I don't know, I hope they don't go back to experience, because eventually you can't just keep doing that. You have to move on at some point in time.
I mean, let's just finish this chat with Hardik then. I want to ask you this. 2022, we saw how they were prioritizing the T20 World Cup. So all the ODIs saw all the lesser players, so to speak, Dhawan, captain, all of that, because they're never going to be part of the T20 World Cup. Now they're looking forward to the ODI World Cup, and T20s have taken the back burner. That's always going to be the case, right?
Yeah, it will be. But like, again, this series I feel is like jo ODI mein tha, test mein tha, unhi ko rakha lo, to ticket na banana pade dusra type wala. Like Mukesh has been there for like all the 3 formats.
It's true, but it's true. But as funny as it sounds.
Yeah, also, I actually like the squad they picked for Ireland more than what they picked for this one. Because वहाँ पे options है. You have guys like Shahbaz Ahmed.
Yeah.
You have guys like you have 2-3 all-rounders in the setup at least.
Yeah, you have Rinku Singh as well.
And I also feel like, see, even with the young guys that we keep talking about, this I still don't feel this is India's best 11, even without the seniors.
1 second, there's a wicket here. Sorry to cut
Did
you
he
off.
catch it?
Yeah, he caught it. It was such a nonchalant non-celebration that he's gone. King's gone for 42.
147.
And yeah, it just makes you think. Keep your comments coming through. A lot of people getting chatty in the comments, and understandably so, because we're all passionate about the Indian cricket team. And it's baffling at times how they've been chopping and changing series per series, and only time will tell if that actually merited some success in the ODI World Cup. After the World Cup defeat, which will happen, mark my words, bro, saying Vikram Mohanty, who should the BCCI hire for the head coach and who should captain India? So he's basically saying the proper transformation after the Rohit Dravid era. Hypothetically, if you guys had to pick a new coach and new captain, who would it be?
Captain, I feel they're going to stick with Hardik. Coach,
Hardik for ODIs and T20s.
Yeah. And coach, I am okay with anyone. I hope it's not Lakshman.
Okay.
That's it. Because that's how it works. NCSA yahan pe.
No, I mean, yeah, if you connect the dots, he's not wrong. Som, do you agree, or do you have a completely different thought?
I just feel they need separate coaches. India as a team cannot have one coach across formats, because inevitably then you will have decisions. You'll kind of mix decisions that if someone has done well in T20s, you inevitably pick them in tests and vice versa. But if you have separate coaches, separate selectors, then such things won't happen. And in an ideal world, it shouldn't happen. And more than captain, I think Indian cricket needs someone even more broader, like a director or someone who can keep a tab on the coaches below them. Ideally, players like people like Dravid, Lakshman, they should not be direct coaches. I feel they would serve better if they are like team directors or something, and then they have separate coaches across formats.
I agree. Nix, just want to ask you a little bit more elongated question, not just a coach and captain picks for the next transformation era or whatever, but someone like Rob Key for England, He's come in and he's kind of put his vision across. Do we need someone like that to at least lay the blueprint or the template or whatever?
You have no Jaisa.
I mean,
See, I think Som made that point very, very clear that, see, eventually the thing with India is you have lots of resources. So the person that you need here is to understand that you don't have to mix them all and
Yeah.
find a way to optimize every squad possible for every format. And then whether it needs different set of selectors, whether it needs different coaches, then that person can sit together and form that committee or whatever you want to call it. That, okay, if he's the director, then he can take that call that, okay, this is how we go about it. Communication is clear to and fro as well. So if you have separate coaches, you want that communication to be done to them as well, that don't mix again, it's sounds very obvious, but that's what you eventually want to do. That if Harry Brook is doing well, okay, you've taken him into test matches because you're playing certain way, then okay, it's fine. But then those calls, that communication has to happen within the squad as well. That, okay, if Mukesh is not doing well, what is the reason that he's part of your other two setups? Is it, as Hardik said, don't want to cut an extra ticket? So you don't want that to happen.
Being the so-called world's richest and
Hmm.
all of that. By the way,
I just
go on.
no, just go ahead. I'll continue later.
Just wanted to mention the fact that you guys could have locked in your predictions for the first innings prediction power play contest. Power play? Why did I say power play? Contest. And we all have kind of spoken about it. But right now, Powell and Hetma are there, so anything can happen. Yeah, continue, Som.
So now,
Oh, one second, we'll
One-
make a quick change because Hardik's going to step out and we'll get Anirudh in the hot seat. I'm sure he'll have something to say. And the stumps have been dismantled as well. So just hold on to your point. We'll just make a quick change and be right back. One brings two, they say, and Hardik is gone out, Anirudh's coming, Nix is gone out, and Gurkirat's coming. It's almost a double change. Gurkirat, good to see you. I'll get to you in a bit, but Som was trying to make a point, and I kind of rudely intervened. Carry on.
no, that's all right. So I mean, now here is a situation where I feel common sense has not prevailed. Now, if you look at India's 11, like we were discussing, that if you have the same coach across formats, cross-format decision making would be a little convoluted. Now, the only reason Ishan Kishan was preferred over Jaiswal in the first two games is because he did well in the ODIs. If you look at his T20 numbers standalone, there is no way he deserved a look in ahead of Jaiswal. Now, even in the squad that you've picked, inevitably, if you had to bring Jaiswal in, which India would have definitely done across 5 games, there's no chance that India would have persisted with Kishan and Gill in all 5 games. Now, you know for sure that Kishan is one of the guys who might not play the entire series. So why was he the first choice wicketkeeper in the first 2 games? When you have Samson in the team, when you know Samson is going to play all 5 games, and essentially you are looking at Samson as an option for the World Cup. Come the World Cup next year, let's say if Jaiswal and Gill have succeeded, they would be your first choice openers. That means Samson is your wicketkeeper. So why wasn't he the wicketkeeper in the first 2 games? And this is where I sincerely feel let down by the geniuses who are running Indian cricket. I mean, you've played the game for so long. This is just a commonsensical, move that you should be showing. It just shows your proactiveness. The decisions that they make, it just makes everything look so convoluted that you don't even know who your first choice keeper is.
The 2 reasons why they perhaps played Ishan Kishan, which is baffling, but they'll tell you this. I'm pretty sure they'll slip it across in their
That's
press
fine. Playing him in is fine. I'm saying, but even when he was playing, why wasn't Samson your keeper? Which he clearly should be a first choice keeper, looking at the grander scheme of things for the next T20 World Cup.
And I also feel that oh, he's on, is he? Surely.
Oh, they want to review it. Admire RR to RR over there. Gurkirat, good to see you in a nice t-shirt, man. Where did you get some nice t-shirts nowadays? I mean, where's that from?
It was gifted to me by Avnish Hegde.
Cricket.com, you mean? Fantastic merchandise. Let's see who wins it today. How you like the game so far? Do you think India pulling it back nicely?
Yeah, I mean, I think West Indies can still get to the par score, which is 150. Yeah, I think India actually started to pull back well, and when I had just joined in, there was a run out appeal. So I was like, what timing? But it did not turn into a run out. But yeah, I was still listening to the conversation that was happening between the four people that were there when I was in the background. And like Nikhil said, like uh, it's very difficult to predict or get a vibe or a gut feel of what the team is trying to do, because yeah, it does. A lot of things don't really make sense. I mean,
So,
with the kind of IPL that Jaiswal had, it made absolutely zero sense for him to not start in the first game straight away. And there are many. I think now it's when you start talking about the management, you start coming across as a broken tape recorder, because there's essentially nothing new to add. Even the mistakes that they commit are pretty much on the same lines or the same pattern that they've done before. The personnel might change, but the pattern is pretty much the same. You can predict the kind of mistakes that they'll do. Like today, Mukesh hasn't bowled a single over so far, right? And yeah, I mean, it really doesn't make sense to me that again Hardik has bowled more overs than Arshdeep and Mukesh. I mean, and it's something that we saw even in that New Zealand series when Shivam Mavi was there. That Hardik was completing his quota of overs, but Arshdeep and Shivam Mavi weren't. I really don't understand, because one is that given the kind of player that Hardik is and how India essentially have no backup for him, it is also imperative that he sort of conserves his body and is doubly careful of not getting injured. And there are times when you should be testing out players, or you should be giving them chances, and that doesn't seem to come across in Hardik's captaincy as well. I mean, players can make it to the 11, but if after making to the 11 they don't get to perform that desired role for which they've been picked, I don't think there's anything to gain. You're only doing lip service.
yeah, I mean, I also feel that dropping Kishan after 2 matches also, it's like, where do you start him in the first place? And if you started with him in the first place, at least give him 3 matches, or maybe give him an entire series just to make sure he's not good enough, as Sanjay Manjrekar once
They
said.
continued with him because of his
But-
form in the ODIs, because they want to keep him well oiled for the ODI.
Exactly.
World Cup.
Then how can you drop him after just 2 matches?
Yeah.
And like he was the second highest run scorer for India in the last match, I guess, 27 or 28, whatever he
True.
scored. But I'm just saying that if at least give him 3 matches. If you're dropping him, you started with him, at least give him 3 matches. What is this business of dropping a player?
And another thing that I'd like to say is that even if say Mukesh comes on and bowls the 18th and the 20th over, we saw this enough in the IPL that if you had to just come in and
Yeah.
bowl straight away at the death without having uh, any sort of a feeler of the pitch, it's difficult to sort of start landing those correct lengths. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things just don't make any kind of sense to begin with. It's sometimes becomes uh, difficult, and a lot of times we have seen that people here who are on the show, we are trying to make up some logic to explain what is happening, and that shouldn't really be the case. And sometimes even when we are trying that, it comes across as if we are clutching at straws and we are wanting to defend the management or wanting to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? And that cannot be the default setting of the management, which has sort of become right now, wherein you're just trying to look for reasons to maybe explain something. Things should be straightforward, I feel.
But this I feel is more to do with Hardik than the management, like the in-game management, right? I'm not sure if the decision to not bowl Mukesh at all,
Oh,
not bowl
Yeah,
Mukesh at all for like 17 overs. I'm
it's
sure.
baffling.
I mean,
Yeah.
first of all,
But what do you think the reasons they'll say?
I don't know, man. I mean,
What,
I,
let's
Hardik,
second guess what
Har-
Hardik will say.
I'm not ready to believe a single word Hardik says in the pressers or presentations, because he comes off as the most dishonest person you can see speaking, because you can almost see through his the mask he puts on, that he's just rehearse what he's gonna say, and that he's gonna try and play it everything cool, that he's like the most chill guy, and he's like, oh yes, this
like
that.
the last loss as well. How, Somesh was saying, not everything can be put on Dravid's shoulders. Like, if you
Oh
have a captain who's seen that Chahal has taken 2 wickets, you have two lower order batters. I think it's unfair to call both
yeah,
McCoy and Hussain as tailenders, who prefer pace than spin. And you saw that it was not as if the Pacers were troubling. I mean, if I can understand you wanting to take a punt, but then maybe in the 19th over could have brought Chahal on. So yeah,
yeah.
it's
So think about it, right? See,
some things have to come down to the captain. And I know some people will now start criticizing Hardik the captain, but it's not that he's captained differently in the IPL when it comes to Gujarat Titans. It's just that which is why I keep saying that judging captaincy on the basis of titles is not the right way to look at things. When you have the kind of bowlers that Gujarat had in this season and in the last season as well, you could pretty much throw the ball to anyone, make a tactically wrong call, and still get away with it because of the quality of resources at your disposal, right? And it's something that has been the luxury for a few captains. It's been a luxury for Rohit Sharma as well in the IPL, where games have gone out of his grasp, but he has had Bumrah or Malinga to throw the ball to, and then win out of nowhere. So that is how I think people should look at captaincy, and not just the titles that you've won. Sometimes you win titles because of the inherent quality that the team has, and sometimes you actually over deliver with the quality that you have. So that is why judging captaincy requires a far more closer look than just looking at the trophy or the cabinet.
into the attack finally,
And
and he
gets a
strikes
wicket.
first ball, and
Mukesh gets a wicket.
Hetmyer continues to be as
I mean,
useful as
Nice.
word EA in the letter T.
seriously, I mean, sorry, I was mum and I was kind of listening to this compelling call because we like to nitpick as experts, fans, journalists, and so on and so forth. I think so wants to have a say as well. Go on.
No, yeah, I mean, the point is, at this point of time, captaincy in IPL is made even more easier with the impact sub, right? I mean, you can always call on the 12th man to do the extra job. So, I mean,
Exactly.
it's international cricket and IPL is not like for like anymore, and which is where, I mean, the point is, whenever, I mean, and this is something that we discussed during the IPL as well, that when it comes to international cricket, we'll always search for players who are good at multiple roles, but uh, the the runners of IPL know this very well, and yet they tend to have these regressive decisions like introducing the impact player rule, which is affecting development of players. So yeah, I mean, it can't be. I mean, we can't have
And
it both ways. Secondly, the important point is, which I really have started to feel for a while now, that I mean, it can come down to luck or whatever it is. But under this management, even the players have not stepped up. I mean, even the players that they stuck with for a while, like they stuck with Avesh Khan for a while, or even Arshdeep for that matter. I mean, he has not been that he's not been that killer punch that certain champion teams have had in their repository of sorts of players. So I mean, it works both ways. I mean, you can't even single out even a single batter. I mean,
Oh, what was that? Well, it was an
Oh
edge.
my God, close
Oh.
one. Man.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, we can say Sky is a fine, but then Sky was doing Sky things for a while now. But apart from that, I mean, is there a single player who has stepped up in T20? Even spinners, I mean, it's very at the international level right now. It is very hard to differentiate between Chahal, Bishnoy, and Kuldeep. Whatever we are discussing is just based on vibes. Neither of them, and whenever they've been given a chance, they've not sealed the spot like I am the clear fronter. It has not happened,
No, that's
and
true.
it applies across formats.
And that's why Pranav Anand is saying this Watchalong is giving how to fix Indian cricket episode vibes. And I think there was another one which said, I think from Introspect, saying Som should be made the cricket director of the BCCI. I would definitely vouch for that as well. So keep your comments coming through and like this particular video, because there's 2 more watch-alongs coming up in terms of this series, and then there's 3 more in the Island series as well. Chutant going on to say, Avnish, honestly, India need a coach and manager like Eric Ten Hag because he brings discipline, takes very tough calls.
they had one 16 years ago,
Yeah, or they had one 7 years ago in Kumble,
7 years ago, perhaps
In
6 years
Kumble,
ago.
perhaps 6 years ago. But yeah, only time will tell.
Oh,
So how much can West Indies muster from here, boys? I know Gurkirat said pass score is 150, but is it a winning score, Gurkirat, 150?
I I feel yes.
See, if the pitch eases out like how it did in the last game, maybe not. But again, it will also come down to the fact that do India have someone who can play the kind of innings that that Nicholas Puran played, where when Nicholas Puran was batting, it looked like the pitch was a batting beauty. So yeah, I mean, it will come down to how really India play Akil Hussain and how West Indies bowl as well.
Yes,
But
okay.
if India are not able to chase 150, like how they couldn't in that first game, it is a matter of serious concern because
But sometimes I
batting.
feel, Gurkirat, and correct me if I'm wrong, all of you all, 150, sometimes when you're chasing 145, you always start circumspectly. You're not kind of getting quick off the blocks, and that's
So
what's done for India.
But
see, you could have given them this benefit of the doubt in the probably the first T20I, wherein they probably did not really have much of an idea how the pitch will play, but now they have a certain idea that the power play is important. If
yeah,
despite that they still don't go hard in the power play and end up a few runs short of the target, then they have to cop the blame. And I know that they don't have the batting depth, but and you can sort of use that as a genuine reason for why they've not been able to go hard while batting first. But when you have a target in front of you, or a target in sight, then you should be able to manage your batting resources well, and be able to figure out that what is the tempo that you need to score at. So if India have to chase 150 and they are not able to, then yes, batters will have to cop the blame that
and I guess
two games in, like, 2 games out of 3 you've not been able to chase 150, then there's a problem regardless of how the pitch is.
you can't even say that batting depth is an issue. Oh, we don't have batting depth because clearly every match one bowler has been under bowled. So why not play an extra batter like
Yeah.
play Kishan as well, play Jaiswal as well, and drop one of Aksar, Kuldeep or Chahal, and then give the batters
I
more
don't
free.
think they can drop Akshar purely because of the lack of batting depth.
Oh, what a shot that is from Ramapal. He sent it back miles for six. And that 150 definitely beckons now because there are 11 balls left. And
I feel Aksar can be
143 for
dropped.
five.
I mean, because the way he's been rendered ineffective due to the left-handers in the West Indies lineup.
in
And
this series, for sure, Gurkirat,
Exactly,
it doesn't even
yeah.
matter.
But how
Unless-
does it solve anything? I mean, just
It
think
doesn't
about
solve
it.
the problem. No, you don't have any other
You,
batter.
your batting still will end at 7. I mean, how will it solve the problem?
What I
No, but
expected
they're
what
not
I
going
expected in this game was Yashasvi Jaiswal to come in for one of the wrist spinners, because dropping Akshar again
Oh, yeah.
means that your batting is finishing at 7.
Forgot about
So
that. Yes.
But then, Gurkirat, why would you drop a wrist spinner? Why don't you? Why won't you drop a pacer? Because
Drop
inevitably
Mukesh.
you'll end.
Pacer
Drop,
also doesn't
sorry,
matter.
yes. Drop Mukesh and play Jaiswal or
Jaiswal,
Kishan or
yeah.
I mean
So
both basically.
because
And then
you will have both 3 pace and 3 spin options. This is clearly a used wicket, and that's why West Indies are batting first. So you'd rather have an extra spinner than an extra pacer.
and Hardik is anyway not allowing the pacers to bowl out
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he
but
scored
I
3 matches in a row. So why
I
not drop a pacer?
I don't think that Hardik will bowl himself in the last 5.
Still he's bowled 3, right?
Yeah, but
So
even for him to kind of go at it and not trust his pacers is just shocking. Anyway, let's see if Arshdeep
Because
will-
last game as well, he completed his quota of overs before the 15th over mark.
yeah, he's
No, that's
off.
okay. Even if you have 2 pacers, last 5 would be sorted, right? You can have 1 spin over in the last 5.
and which is invariably Chahal right now.
No.
Boys, do you want to take a crack at that question? Or is it just the attack of Ambrose, Walsh, all those good old guys just giving us the impression? But even when I used to watch cricket way back in the day, they almost had that Sharjah-esque sheen on those pitches in Barbados, in Trinidad, in all those places. So I think,
Shot.
oh my word, that's humongous.
Hey,
That's
what?
the biggest of the day.
Short.
So I
But
didn't.
this is like proper slot balls.
Yeah.
Exactly. 2 horrible deliveries like
But
first
this is
3
what I mean. Arshdeep Singh now, he's been around for 12 months, and he has it in him to be right up there. But inevitably, something has not clicked. That that advancement to the next level where you are like one of the best premium pacers playing for the best team in the world, supposedly. I mean, that transition has not happened successfully, to be honest, and that's why Arshdeep has even lost his place in the 50 over side.
Yeah.
And
But
that's why it takes a toll on
hitting
him,
in the
right?
50 over side, he didn't even get much of a game time to really say that he lost
But
it.
even
But
he's being shoehorned in depending on the games, right? He also doesn't have a clue what to do. I mean, he
Not
played South.
really, not really. I mean, see, Arshdeep Singh, Avesh Khan, these are two bowlers I think who cannot complain because they have been given consistent runs.
yeah, they cannot complain. That I agree.
Even Harshal Patel for that matter.
Yeah, true. With
Over
respect to Arshdeep,
Yeah.
Another guy
respect-
who
Hey, he's a good off spinner, Harshal Patel.
This is what I'm saying, right? I mean, Harshal Patel was rightly backed because he had an excellent 2 seasons of IPL. But the
Yeah.
players themselves, if they don't step up, I mean, the management can only do so much.
By the way, is Harshal in any of the squads like
No.
Asian Games
No.
or Royal?
no, he's not. He's not.
I would think that, grooming Harshal for an Australian World Cup was dumb, and grooming Harshal for a West Indian World Cup would have been smart because of the kind of surfaces on offer. And
That was
grooming
not a wide.
Australian World Cup would have been smart,
Seriously.
and going ahead with finger spinners for a West Indian World Cup would have been better. But they clearly are like trying to overcompensate
They
for
missed
not
the
picking a
trick.
wrist spinner in Australia by desperately trying to pick a wrist spinner for West Indies, where wrist spinners are not so effective and finger spinners are more effective. So, look,
And I hope they don't omit Arshdeep's name from the squad in the next year's World Cup because of the series. Because he's not looked the best. He's looked off color. And I mean, you can't blame the boy, can you?
I didn't think this was a wide, by the way.
Yeah, same. The umpiring has been shocking.
yeah.
Avnish, is your dinner sorted or wait for the match to get over? No, I've just ordered it. So hopefully it should be entering our office anytime soon. There's anyway 8 balls left. We'll take a breather and be back.
It feels like whatever West Indies get from here is a bonus because it feels like they've already got to par. And,
Yeah.
whatever they get from here is above par.
Speak of the devil delivery. I was going to say speak of the delivery. He calls right away. So Shaunak or Vikas, if you guys can just take my phone and pick up the food, will be great.
What have you ordered?
I've ordered basically from Somesh's restaurant. It's called,
Truffles.
Oh, mera restaurant bhi hai. I have so many business ventures. I mean, I don't even realize.
omelette theory, the theory of omelette.
But
Avnish.
it's awesome.
Avnish makes.
Gurpreet, you should
Avnish
try
is-
theory of omelette whenever you are in Bangalore next.
Sure.
Good.
No, wo to, so this is nothing like he said that you have a restaurant. Every day he, puts me in some business venture or the other.
But that's because you are,
he's
don't
lucky
deny
to
it.
get away with it.
So Arshdeep finishes that over pretty well, but still, West Indies have 1 over left and they're 148 for 5. So they're essentially targeting 160 now. Ramana Kiran, good evening. How are you, I should say. To be honest, she goes on to say, or he, after Sandpaper Gate, no team has deserved as much flack as the Indian team. That's a controversial take. Oh, I think she's just taking the mix.
He, I think,
Oh,
Ramana is
he.
a pretty common male name.
He. It's a unisexual name, to be fair.
Yes, but I mean, I know more Ramanas who are.
It's like a Gurmeet. There could be a Gurmeet girl and a guy.
Okay, we'll let Ramana.
That's pretty much the case for a lot of sick names. Gender
fair.
include.
But yeah, getting back to the question, Gurpreet, you agree. But the Indian cricket team's always in the spotlight, bro. They will be thrown daggers at.
No, so I mean, I'm not
The
sure.
point is you can't
That's
go
a-
out and make
that's a
statements like
so we can move on, I guess. Like
Statement.
that's a statement, not a question.
Okay,
So,
just for the shits and giggles, how much is Mukesh going to concede in his last over? How much do you guys
Sev-
trust Mukesh?
I think
17.
Yeah, I was about to say
17.
My God.
Bro, I mean,
Because I predicted 165. I want them to touch it. Right?
okay, fair.
Okay, so much
Could be a
to 165.
could be a 15-run over.
Do you think 165 they get it? India will chase it down.
Can obviously they have the
Can,
potential.
but someone would need to play a special innings.
Mukesh's
Oh,
first
good.
ball was a brilliant ball, man.
Good Yorker.
The guys in Gopalganj where he belongs will be proud of that Yorker, my man.
I think he's so far done well in this series, despite being treated the worst way a debutant could be treated by Hardik Pandya. Mukesh has done well so far across the first 3 matches. Hopefully, he finishes this over off well.
Man, he's just had like the Caribbean trip to remember for sure. Somesh, by any chance, would you be watching the India vs Netherlands game at Bangalore later this
Yeah.
year?
Why not?
From where?
From where? From Netherlands.
I'm gonna be watching it. अभी ये कुछ नहीं पूछा उसने ना.
अभी तो tickets ही नहीं आई and we still don't know if it would be in Bangalore or not.
That's also good.
Oh.
The ball and Sanju has been kind of not the best as a keeper in this game, but it's fine. We can cut him some slack. They'll scamper through to put Shepherd and strike.
Yes.
And is Mukesh the death specialist?
I'm right.
It's a he, guys. You're right, Anita. Yeah, apologies, Ramna. Apologies.
Yeah, Mukesh. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, if he does well, you have to credit the management because we saw in the IPL that he had a good Yorker in him, but he also bowled a lot of full tosses, attempting Yorkers.
But that was also because it's his first IPL.
Yeah, and
I just hope that now he doesn't go for a slower one against Romario.
He was
Romario
playing
is
for
very good against slower ones.
exactly, I was about to say that.
He's playing for Delhi Capitals to be
Oh,
fair.
well
Well bowled, Mukesh.
But I
Double bluff.
Brilliant.
that was poor batting.
From
Man. Like, I
Ramon
mean, he
and Shepherd.
just moved around like 100 minutes before Mukesh delivered the ball, and he was asking for it.
Yeah, I think he was shepherding too much.
Reminded me of
across
the Craig Keyspetter dismissal in the World Cup final. Where
2010 final.
wicket.
Mitchell Thompson.
Whenever we try players in different formats, players start to deteriorate in the best format. Do you think the same with Arshdeep? No.
That's a universal thing with every country.
I don't
It's
think
not
so.
just with
Yeah.
India.
And we've not tried Arshdeep in across formats. It's not like he's played Test cricket.
Well
Good
bowled, man.
Yorker.
Goal. Storm, your 17's not happening, buddy.
Yeah, man, good over, top over.
Brilliant.
I thought Mukesh was a Raj Kapoor specialist, but he's turning out to be a death specialist.
Oh my word. You know what? If he hits a 6 now, Powell, and they scamper for 2, my 150, it's still in contention. I think 155 was said by Hardik. I don't know what Hardik
I
said.
didn't make a prediction.
You didn't make a prediction, but some people are close. So, Shaunak, if you can just tell me in the next 2 balls, who's going to be winning the merge? Abbas Kunde has gone for 152.
Yeah, so Abbas is,
Ankur Biswas has gone for, I think, 158, if I'm not wrong.
There has not been a no ball in this innings so far. If I'm
No,
not
don't jinx it now.
So it's a
Shot.
moral victory.
Oh,
Sent him
shot.
out. Oh my word. That's gone
But you
out
know-
of the park.
But this was a very good delivery.
Very good delivery,
was
but
a-
look at the execution of the shot. You
Yeah.
can't sweep that, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is where you have to give the credit to the batter. You can't really blame the bowler for this because Powell went really low for this.
yeah.
Like
But
maybe
this is
if he had not gone on
Nets
one knee,
experience. Yeah, this is what Papa Ponting sees in the Nets. Mukesh Kumar bowling to Rabban Powell.
And then Powell.
I don't know what he sees in the nets and then what he interprets it.
Whoa!
अरे वो पापा पॉन्डी को लगता है कि पावल plays spin really well.
Papa, don't preach. Okay, here, last ball, guys. 156 to 5.
Right.
But this
Right,
time
right,
it's
right.
So the 158 I predicted is on. Hardik probably go for the West Indies dressing room after every match to party, lol.
Oh,
So-
I was thinking,
Oh, our Hardik.
Ora.
No. By the way, like this video if you think that India are going to win. Or nonetheless, just like it, even if you think
Exactly.
West Indies are going to win. Just do us a favor. Helps the algorithm.
Win, what is it? Win, lose, or tie.
Win, lose, or...
India till I die. It's like,
Oh, I thought win or lose on the booze. That's a Somesh. We should get a t-shirt printed for him. Win or lose on the booze, for sure. I can't believe Rajdhani Besan is their side screen sponsor in Guyana. I mean, what? What? And a guy from UP is bowling. Actively.
So
Classic.
तेरे को क्या लग रहा है गयाना में पकोड़े नहीं खाते वो लोग?
I mean, they pretty much they do, but still, we'll take that comment from Adinan. Last ball, good Yorker, he dug it out. And they'll come back. They come back for 2. My 115 won't make
Oh!
it.
They
Oh, they
came
come
back.
back
Wow.
for 2. So 159. And it is that Virat Kohli territory, 160, those targets that India will need, even though they don't have Virat Kohli. But Powell, take a bow. You played a brilliant knock.
Yeah.
19 balls for your 40. And West Indies boys, are they winning this? Is it 3-0? Gurkirat? Yes or no?
I feel 3-0.
I'd hope that India win today because it will keep the series alive. And because if India lose today, then on Thursday I am expecting a lot of comments in my show where people are like, "Isko bahar nikalo, usko bahar nikalo," etc. etc. But yeah, I hope that India have a good batting performance because you'd hope that it's due after 2 bad games for the batters.
Oh, that is true. By the way, other than saying the thing with Indian cricket at the moment is that they don't want to move away from all format players. It's almost a perfect players. Yeah, I think that's the problem. We'll talk
Even
about
Avnish
it.
Khan.
Second
Even
inning.
Avnish Khan.
But 1 second, we have to just go fill our bellies with food and come back, because it's just going to be a 10-minute small breather from our side, because even
Not even
Gill
10, yeah, 8,
and
7.
Jaiswal will be opening the batting. So we'll be back for that. Just grab yourself some coffee, dinner, wherever you guys are. And Som and Gurkirat will see you sometime in the second innings. Thank you guys. And keep cracking in the comments. We'll take all of it the first ball. Meanwhile, we'll also show you the cricket.com classics video right now. It's a sensational watch. Watch that and much more. We'll come back soon. Cheers.
Like personally, I felt in 2007 when we lost the World Cup, and at that point of time when we landed, there was no way out. So actually, we had to get out in a police van, in a PCR, and I was sitting next to in the Sehwag, and it was evening or night time. So we were traveling at a decent speed, maybe 60 or 70. At 60, 70 for India, so it's quite a bit on the narrow road. And there were media cars around us with their camera and a big light on top. And, it felt as if we have committed some kind of a big crime, maybe like a murderer or a terrorist or something like that. And we were actually chased by them. And after a while, maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes, we actually entered a police station. We went there, we sat for a while, and we're like, okay, we'll get the cars. We sat in the car and we left after 15, 20 minutes. So that actually had a big impact, when it comes to me.
After a premature exit from the world's biggest cricket stage, the Indian cricket team went through one of its worst phases ever in 2007. With a star-studded squad and a couple of regulation wins to sail into the next round, arrangements were made long before a prolonged stay in the Caribbean islands. An initial jolt against neighbours Bangladesh was hard to foretell, as Rahul Dravid's men were thumped, courtesy of 5-wicket defeat to the Tigers. The demand of the new group format was simple. India had to defeat debutants Bermuda next, and former champion Sri Lanka in their final group game to make it to the Super 8. A win over the rookies did give India some respite, but against Sri Lanka, India crashed a 69-run defeat, and that meant their exit from the 2007 ODI World Cup. And that's where the downward spiral began. A 2-day break according to the schedule was supposed to be a breather ahead of the Super 8 stage, but it turned out to be a torture. The Indian team, without a ticket, was stranded in Port of Spain, Trinidad, only to head back home in the earliest possible flight. Virendra Sehwag, back then one of the fiercest batsmen in the format, confined himself into the hotel room for 2 straight days, without the services of the housekeeping too. That pretty much summed up the mood of the entire squad. Emotions flow high when the national team plays cricket. A group stage exit escalated the rage even further. What followed in the aftermath of the debacle was something never seen before. In fact, MS Dhoni, still not a superstar that he went on to become at that stage, bore the brunt of the situation. Around 200 fans flocked to his house in Ranchi, bringing down the pillars of the structure. The wicketkeeper batsman, who was sent back to the pavilion without scoring a single run in the Bangladesh game, had his property guarded by state authorities after protesters burnt effigies and hurled abuses. Ahmedabad was treated with a similar fate, as people took to the streets to burn effigies of skipper Rahul Dravid and also scream slogans against Virendra Sehwag. The mood in the eastern city of Kolkata, who are normally known for its passionate fans, also followed suit. The hero worship turned into a hate fest overnight. MS Dhoni, a few years down the line, revealed how he and Virendra Sehwag were terrorized by the wild reception once they landed in New Delhi, India. Traversing through a police van in Delhi, the fast-moving vehicle was surrounded by cameras and light, giving them a fugitive on-the-run feel before the duo were rushed to a police station nearby and were shipped by cars. In fact, MS Dhoni went on to say exactly this. Substantial changes in the roster were enforced following the quadrennial event, which saw the curtains drawn to the infamous Greg Chappell era. It was MS Dhoni who was bestowed the responsibility of putting the pieces together going forward, at least for the white ball scheme of things. And he did not let down. Gathering a bunch of experienced and newbies, the Ranchi boys slammed right back at the critics by steering India to an emphatic T20 World Cup win later that year, and a 50-over World Cup win 4 years later on home soil. It has to be said though, Indian cricket has gone through quite a few turmoils, but the 2007 episode certainly remains one of the darkest ones. Thanks so much for watching this cricket.com classic video. Please subscribe to more videos like this. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from us. And I will ask you the first question, which is, how many West Indian cricketers can you name in 30 seconds, past or present?
I could name 20.
20. Wow, that's a bold shot. Okay, liar. I want to see you go for it. I'm going to start my clock and then we can wait and watch how you go for it.
Do I have to name their full names or just their full
Any name. You can go Lara, Chandapal, Hooper, like that.
Okay. 20
Okay.
30 seconds I could name.
20 and 30 seconds. Your time, Darren Sammy, starts now.
Brian Lara, Viv Richards, Cutley Ambrose, Wes Hall, Charlie Griffith, Darren Sammy, Chris Gale, Jason Holder, Karen Pollard, Akil Hussain, Romario Shepherd, Darren Powell, Kyron Powell, Odin Smith, Roston Chase. You want me to keep going?
Two more. You have 2 more. And you have 5 seconds left.
And Ridley Jacobs.
Okay, we'll give you that. We'll give you the points. You went 20 bang on in 29.5 seconds. So well done. You had the points in the first round. Super. So the second round is types of food. How many types of food can you name in 30 seconds? Do you want to give it a go?
Type of food. In like a dish? Or
Yeah, you can say bread, pasta, biryani, anything.
I think I could name 12.
12. That's modest, Darren. I'm sure like you're a foodie. I think I can name 15.
You could name 15?
Yeah, 15. Do you think you can beat 15?
I could name 16.
Okay, 16. Let's see if you can name 16 foods. Your time starts now.
Chocolate, cake, green fig, apple. Oh man, macaroni pie, aloo pie, chicken curry, goat curry, beef, luncheon meat, boiled eggs.
You need 4 more and you have 5 seconds.
Peanut butter, jam, golden apple, grapes.
Time up. 15 seconds. I mean, you named 15 in 30 seconds. Well done. So because I called you a liar, I get the point. So it's 1-1 in this series so far. Let's move on to the third one. Let's see what our producers have given us for the third one. How many apps on your phone can you name in 30 seconds?
How
So
many
it can be
apps on my
WhatsApp,
phone?
Instagram. Yeah, how many apps?
I could name 10 apps on my phone.
10.
12
I'll bet
apps
you
on
were
my
saying
phone.
12. 12 apps. I mean, in general, apps in general.
Okay, I could name 15 apps.
Okay, that's a brave shout. Let's see if you are brave enough to name them all. Your time starts now.
WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, MSN Messenger, Google Play, Apple Pay,
You have 7 seconds.
Oh my god. Oh, exercise app, health, sleeping app.
Okay, it's time up. You fall short in this round, Darren. You could have easily challenged me. I would have struggled as well. When you named MSN Messenger, I realized that this man is all over the place. But nevertheless, because of your lying capabilities, I've got the points. So it's fine. You still have 2 rounds to pip me 3-2.
Oh,
I know you're
I
having a
could
laugh.
tie it. I could tie it. I could win.
Super.
Oh
So
my
the
God.
last 2 rounds, okay? And this is where it kind of gets tricky. The fourth question here is how many genuine all-rounders in world cricket right now can you name 30 seconds?
Genuine all-rounders in world cricket I could name in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I could name 7.
7. Okay, I can name 10. I'll go with 10.
I think I could name 11.
Okay, I would say 12. I might pip you to the post here. I don't know, I'm shouting out, but let's see.
I call you.
12. Okay, 12. Fair enough. So I have to name 12. My producer has a clock behind me. I'll start right now. Ravindra Jadeja, Mitchell Santner, Shadab Khan,
I hope you don't have.
Kieran Pollard, Jason Holder, Odin Smith, Romario Shepherd, Mitchell Marsh. Who else do we have? Colin de Grandhomme, Ben Stokes. I have 10 seconds and I need to name 3 more. Oh my god.
Listen, look at me, man. Look at me. I'm not playing anymore.
Okay, time's up. So I faltered, which is so hard to get when the clock's on you.
Time's up.
The pressure is ridiculous. My producer is just shaking his head
You
in
know how I feel.
So I failed in this round. So it's 2-2, Darren, between you
You've got
and
the Pandey brothers. Oh,
I forgot the Pandya brothers. I can't believe I forgot the Pandya brothers. I mean, people in the comments below will be going absolutely mad. Finally, it's 2-2 between us. Let's just end this game by answering famous movies in 30 seconds. How many can you name?
12.
12. All right. I say I can name 13. And mind you, you can't say Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3. You have to just say the movie. I mean, that'll become 3. So it's cheating that way.
You said 13? You said 12?
Yeah, I said 13. 13.
You said 12? You said.
Look, it's always fun content that you guys can watch it. But look, we're resuming this watch along. So apologies for all the people who've left. You guys will have to come back. You'll eventually come back and we'll answer your comments. Yes, just Jaiswal's first ball and T20 internationals. Nearly a boundary, but what intent? Mr. Intent Jaiswal is. And India 1 for none, chasing 160 to keep the series alive. Can they keep the series alive, Anirudh?
It'll be a very tough challenge, no doubt, because I think the wicket is getting slower. I mean, it could get slower. That's what both the captains feel as well. So
if you give India right now what West Indies got in the power play, 38 for none after 6, would they take it?
I think so, yes. But,
solid and steady.
Yeah, for sure. They need one of the top 3 to kind of score a 60 or a 70 because that's not happened so far this series. So, yeah, they need the big boys to come to the party.
They need the big boys, and Gill's got a boundary in his first ball. So there is, of course, a little bit of fortune, and Gill means business with the fist to the pump. Pump to the fists.
Fist to the pump. But it looks like it's pretty dark now. Is it going to rain?
It's kind of gloomy. Don't say the dreaded 4-letter word. We'll have to stay in office till 1:30 or 2. I bought tickets for the game in Florida for that sake of that match. Make it 2-1 today. Yeah, God bless you, Tushar. And hopefully you enjoy Lauderhill. Lauderhill. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. I mean, you guys will have a chuckle about that. By the way, we spoke about it in the last watch along. Gill needs a partner of aggression. He has Saha in the IPL. He didn't get that with Kishan. And he's going to get that with Jaiswal. So do you think Jaiswal is just going to be aggressor today?
Jaiswal will play how Jaiswal plays.
Yeah.
Which I think initially, is taking the attack to the bowlers. So we saw it in the first ball itself. He was trying to whack.
And more than Gill and Kishan, Gill and Jaiswal is more seductive as an opening pair. Right? These two are the youngest, best batters in the IPL, which just went by.
True that.
He's coughing for certain reasons. Oh my word!
Wait,
oh my word! Surely that's not going to be caught. Is it going to be caught? It is.
Oh, he's gone.
Alzani Joseph swallows
has
it.
jinxed Jaiswal here.
What have I done?
He asked Jaiswal to seduce him.
Oh my word!
All he can do is.
Bro, I mean, you can't blame the youngster. He's just gone for it.
And it was that to be hit, to be fair, but I don't know. Was it a change of pace? Not really, but yeah, it's one of those deliveries which was there to be hit, and Jaiswal did not kind of connect it properly. And a very fine catch from Alzari Joseph, you have to say,
Oh
because
my
the ball hung
word.
up in the air for ages.
And like you said, gloomy skies, ball
Exactly,
moving
yeah.
around, and it's not very often you would not want to see
Oh
Jaiswal
no,
perform.
Chichan's comment has aged like milk.
No, and
immediately.
you know what? I was just thinking of a pun with the dismissal as well. Jaiswal to throw the Kishan sink at it and being out. But yeah, Chachant and Sagar Chandra, welcome back to the Watchalong, and we'll take all your previous comments, which was there towards the fag end of the first innings, of course. No winners, unfortunately, in the merchandise for the prediction. No one said 159. People came close. Jagmeet Singh Obrai said I had 158. Otherwise, I would have won twice consecutively. Well done. Any merch coming my way? Actually, Aditya Anand, did he say 150? He said 160. Oh, sorry. No, it doesn't count.
But there's a second chance, right?
There is a second chance. The time prediction, which is a good pointer, tell us when India will hit the winning runs or when West Indies will take the winning wicket, depending on what you guys feel. Tell us the time in the comments. By the gut feel, it should be around 11:35, but you never know with rain hovering around as well. But sky's in early. We've not
with the
said
sky
that.
being
With the
gloomy.
sky being gloomy. Man, but Jaiswal, the story ends short in his debut, but it's all right. It's okay. At least Jaiswal doesn't waste balls like Kishan. Yeah. Sagar Chandra and Chachant having an absolute hammer and tong in the comments. But Sky, how's he going to go? We need a Sky knock to save India's bacon, surely. Oh, how's he going to go? It's just the one way. I mean, that was pretty much a half volley, and he had all the time.
But it did swing, though. I mean, if he had missed it, he was a goner. So good job of putting bat to ball,
Yeah.
I guess.
Vasant Narayan randomly just blase. Come on, yeah. I mean, what kind of comment
So
that
we have
is?
had the first time prediction. It comes from Sanjay, 11:43.
Do you agree with him?
Oh, that's
If you
that's
do-
nearly like 2 hours. I don't think so.
That's what is it right now? 9:54.
That's
Yeah, that's
nearly
a
2
while
hours. Yeah.
away. While 11:50 say Mayur
I'm saying
Badiwala.
11:17.
11:17. 11:17. Okay. They've already 3 predictions in Sky.
Oh!
With the way he's going, it could be 10 fucking 45. Jesus Christ. Sky has to save India's ass today. Completely agree. Fully agree. 10 of 2. What an eventful over. 16 for 1. This is why I was kind of hurrying up in terms of getting our act together for the second innings. Because last time we missed 2 balls of it and we apologized. But 16 for 1, I asked you. 38 for none, 6 overs. Clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, and West Indies will be hoping to take wickets because they ultimately know that India only have like 6 batters, and from there on it's game over.
So you're Rahman Pawal now. You're going to go with
Akil Hussain
again?
100%.
100%.
And something West Indies did in the last match was that there were only 2 times where a bowler bowled more than 1 over in a spell. So they kept changing things up. So I won't be surprised if that happens today as well.
Yeah, good observation that, because they always like to kind of chop and change.
1 a.m. Greg says 1 a.m.
1 a.m. He's factoring the rain in over there. And Obed McCoy doesn't like the look of that over. So Akil Hussain, we both got
yes,
our
he's in.
prediction to Gill, who of course he got in that second T20 international stumped.
First, was it?
First or third?
First.
Oh, the
It
first
was
one.
match.
First
Second
one.
match, Gill got out to Alzari Joseph.
Oh, correct. My bad. And the third one?
This is the third one.
Oh, this is the third one. What am I doing? I've literally just messed up my dates. Anyway, Akil Hussain, can he bring West Indies a wicket here, or will they just play him out? I think they'll just play him
I'm
out.
surprised that they have pushed long off back to Gill. I would have thought they would have liked to keep him on strike and let Akil get a solid 4 or 5 balls at him. But
Yeah. Sagar Chandra going on to say, I hope Sky does Sky today, man. Need him to shine. We're just making him underconfident playing ODIs.
but I mean, has India not been a one-man team in T20s in the last 2 years?
100%.
Just Sky, and that's it.
100%.
It's just Sky.
And then you'll have like flash and pan performances from different players. But Sky's been definitely the most consistent one. In terms of any cricketer in T20s, I think Som was making this point as well earlier, that name me a player in T20s has been more consistent than Sky.
Yeah.
I can't. I really can't. So let's see how he's going to take on Akil Hussain, a former MI to a current MI, even though many people...
Did Akil Hussain play for MI?
He did. I didn't know if he played, but he was definitely part of their squad, for sure. If we always depend on Sky Knock and nothing from Hardik and other batters, we are hopeless.
I agree.
Vikram also is kind of one of those fans who are just let's rip, which is perfect. So speak your mind. This is the community we want to build on cricket.com. And don't be afraid to abuse in the comments. We'll take that through, but don't be personal. Just don't be personal.
Oh, that was some sharp turn.
Sharp turn in there.
Yeah.
Akul said. 17-1, 1.4. There's no power play prediction, but we're doing the time prediction. So if you guys are wondering why random people are letting go in the live comments with times, we've asked them the second innings prediction.
It's a no ball.
Oh my word. How can you be a spinner and bowl a no ball? It's just baffling. Haven't they seen Nathan Lyon in Test? Haven't they seen Mark Watt in Scotland, who doesn't even flirt with the line?
He doesn't even like
come close.
The umpire only.
Oh, my God, what is this? There's whispering happening over there.
Speaking of former MI and...
Are they trying to like whisper like that because they're over the stump mic directly? Anyway, free hit. What's Sky going to do on this delivery? Is he going to deposit it into the stands? He tries to. He goes over the offside for 4. It was always coming. I mean, if you're Akil Hussain, what are you going to bowl on a free hit in the power play to Sky? Technically,
you can't do anything.
Whatever you bowl, it's just going to be clobbered.
Bowl your best ball and hope that it rips and beats the outside edge. This one did not turn, and Sky kind of played a cricket 0-7 shot.
Yeah.
C, control, shift, and C, I guess.
It's a strange observation because we're talking about D. It was talking about observation, and this is what I paid attention to in the Test series. The West Indies normally use a Duke's ball, right? They have Kookaburra stumps, and most of their batters have SS bats. Is that the only country which has actually the 3 big cricket manufacturers all in one? Let me know.
But aren't Kookaburra balls used everywhere in white ball cricket universally?
Yeah, but Kookaburra stumps and Duke's balls and SS bats. I mean, for the Test. But right now, I think they're using Kookaburra white balls for ODIs as well, which is just like the universal
ball. Everyone is like putting their eggs in the Sky basket today, it seems.
Everyone's just like thinking Sky is a Virat. Just come on, dude. Come on. You know, like the good old Virat days, which hopefully come back in some form or the other. But yeah, 8 of this over, even though he's gone conceding a free hit and all of that. And he got a wicket. Really? It was uppish, guys. Anirudh, that was a little hard in the mouth moment to be fair.
I mean, if there was a mid-off, he was a goner.
He was a goner. Or if that guy was just kind of squarer. But look, India would take it 25-1.
And let's not forget, West Indies do have another spinner today in the form of Roston Chase. And if anyone who follows CPL closely knows how much of a menace Chase can be on these kind of surfaces. I think there was I think it was 2 years ago that he was part of a bowling attack that defended like 91 or something. I guess.
No way.
It was that kind of a CPL.
Roston Chase. Oh my word. It'll be interesting to see when he comes in a bowl. Like Anirudh said, West Indies haven't really kind of had a similar pattern or allowed their bowlers to bowl in a spell, which is kind of different, and they're doing it again. Joseph into the attack right now, who got Gill's wicket. Vikramonti going on ad saying, if Sky scores 150 and 40 balls in this match, does that make him the perfect for ODIs? Even if he's an absolute horrible at it, what are people smoking here? I mean, look, I'm not saying he's an ODI certainty. All I would say is that India have had a problem, and it's becoming a disease of just mixing formats. People will also say, oh, look how he's proving himself in the T20 scheme of things. You have to make him an ODI player. I mean, and you know, it's unfair. We are doing a Tilak Verma feature on Friday, and a lot of players like Rochama saying all format player. I hate that right now. I want format players and specific format players.
Yeah. I mean, especially with Tilak.
So I don't know what we're smoking here, but we're not smoking anything here, Vikram, for sure.
It feels like Australia also kind of made Cameron Green to 3 format player immediately after him starting off as a Test cricketer. And I wonder how much of that has affected his Test form, because clearly after the rise of Cameron Green in T20 cricket, he had a pretty forgettable Ashes, which came on the back of an IPL. So I don't know how much his white ball surge had to do with his decline in red ball cricket, but it can be very difficult to adjust to formats and don't push people to become 3 format players like you said.
But, and you cited an Australian example, but I think one of the comments also said essentially India more often do it than the other teams.
Mukesh more than Kumar.
Not. Yeah,
he's a 3 format player now.
He's a 3 format player, the quickest ever man, by the way, in terms of days. 14 days
that just like turned like a leg spinner.
It was a fast leg break. We're preparing our boys for knockouts pressure. Brilliant from Dravid Hardik, and Parthe was saying Dravid is not proactive, saying Tanmay Agarwal.
2-0
You
down. I
you
mean,
can
it's,
just
it's,
giggle.
why not forfeit the first 2 matches and start from the third match only?
Seriously, till they get the act together.
I think
But
Ben
even
Stokes will do that.
yeah,
someday.
even our Hardik Vora was sitting in this chair a while ago in the first innings, and he said it just gives me the impression from the offset that these guys don't give an F about the series, and I fully agree with him. I mean, they're just taking the piss at times. Good shot from Gill for nothing.
That's good captaincy to put that man there,
Mhm.
because Gill's flick shot always almost ends up in that particular region.
That is true.
So once again, Gill, after that boundary of the first ball, has been tied down here. He's just scored one of his next 5 balls after scoring a boundary of the first ball.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye on him, whether he tries to force
Will Gill kill
something.
still?
Lull, like you said, Shubman Lull.
Shubman Lal. Rakshak Venkatesh saying 11:31. Giant Slayer going on to say 11:11, which is a lucky number. Is that an edge on it? That was a
I mean, there has
devilish
been
delivery.
more swing in this T20I series than there was in the Test series across all the days combined.
yeah, but
Like,
this
I think
is-
there's been more swing in this particular innings in the first 12 balls or 18 balls than we saw in the entire Test series.
no, that's true.
And
Because
I just wish that we got these surfaces over Tests.
and I
It
know
would have been interesting.
and I know you're saying that because Hardik got a little bit of swing and now Joseph's doing it. Maybe it's just a GT thing. Guys, your thoughts about RCB appointing RCB head coach, your thoughts, Mohammed. Mohammed, we've done a top show at it, Monday Night Live. Check that out. We've spoken about Hartsar, about Andy Flower, Mike Hessin. Did he deserve the sack? The RCB roadmap as a fan. It's all such a great watch, that Monday Night Live thing. So you can check that out. I want to get your thoughts on that. I mean, is it a good fit, just to answer his question?
Yeah, I mean, again, if you look at Andy Flower's track record in T20 cricket, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good is an understatement, because I think it's very good.
Yeah.
And he did a good job with LSG as well, taking him to 2 playoffs. And we don't know how much freedom he had in LSG, because, of course, Gambhir and Goenka also looks like the owner who's gives the vibe of owner that's very controlling. So, not sure what goes on in the LSG management. So I
Yeah,
don't
and
know how
let's
much
see.
freedom Andy had. So
Let's see if left is right, because out of the 10 teams, 8 teams have head coaches or all left-handers. The other 2 are Mark Boucher and Ricky Ponting. I don't know if Chandrakant Pandit's a left-hander, but I'm guessing he is. Let's just say he is. Swept away from Sky.
He exposed
just a
all
single.
his stumps there. And
Just a single.
I feel that I like the ODI kit more than the T20. That's just my call.
I would actually say the Test. I mean, I like it, sure.
Test is good, but
Sure.
why couldn't Dream 11 put it in
Yeah.
blue color?
No, I just want the normal India one.
No,
Dream
why
11.
why is Dream 11 not in blue color? It is in white color
Yeah,
here, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
clearly not a branding thing. Why do you want it in red color?
In
My
fact, we asked a
God.
couple of people about the test kit in one of the fan cams, and you should have seen their reactions about it. First, people thought it was overpriced because you're paying $5,000 for a jersey, which is more than what I would pay for a United jersey or what he would pay for an Arsenal jersey, a legitimate Nike, Adidas one. So
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense whatsoever. But
And really, you can't. The thing with cricket jerseys is that you look like a fool if you wear it anywhere outside stadium.
that's
Like,
true. That is true.
It's like you can't wear a test jersey and go for a dinner.
Yeah,
right?
you just
Like,
can't. Oh, swept away. Seems like mid-wicket was invisible, but Sky gets another boundary.
But you can always go for dinner wearing a United jersey. I think.
Yeah, or any football merch.
Yeah.
Generally, any football merch
and,
is fine.
and I'm sure that even if you wear an India ODI or T20 jersey and go for dinner, like it'll still be a bit off. It won't be as.
But I've seen a lot of Firangs do it. Firangs will come to India and they'll
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, we'll spot the Baiju's jersey. There are lots of people who are football podcasts in Europe wearing the India jersey because it's a cool watch. Vikram Mohanty, yup, I completely understand that. Don't worry. Didn't mean
Yeah,
to
who
say.
said Nish isn't smoking?
Yeah, and who said I'm not smoking? I mean, could be smoking. I think we as a nation talk about our team is scared of losing and going gaga over England, trying high variance players like Livingston. But as soon as we try Sky and a few failures, we criticize saying double A. But look, you're taking the comparison with Sky. I'm trying to take the comparison with Samson, Rahul Tripathi. He's played 5 games and now he's benched 6 or whatever he got, the T20 run. Now he's benched. He's in the Asian Games squad.
Well swept. I think it's.
Ooh.
Oh man, Hetman has suddenly turned into a specialist fielder.
Yeah.
Since second half of IPL, he's fielding really well and his batting has gone to. absolute gutter right now.
For sure. And Sky actually playing that sweep shot really well. You can see why he's so good at it, because he's played one mid-wicket, one square leg, and now near fine leg. Crick Crazy Nick's getting involved, saying it's branding. The text comes red or white only. In terms
Yeah,
of
but
the
if
Team
it can
11
be
one.
white, why can't it be blue? That's what I'm asking. I mean, I understand that
It's brand color.
brand color is red, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Essentially
brand
for
color is
that.
red, right?
Yeah.
So if it can come in white, why not in blue? That's my question.
Yeah,
But
yeah, which is the ODI one. I mean, the T21 is in white right now. But yeah, tell us which one you guys like. I really like that one as well, but I don't like the fact that it doesn't have the traditional United, the symbol. It just has a devil. So I was thinking of buying it, but I bought the other two. I bought the home one and the away one. The away one's, I don't know, the jury's out on it
what
so
is that?
far.
That brown color?
That slightly greenish one.
Mhm.
What are the Arsenal kits?
Oh, it's
this year?
horrible. The away kit is horrible. Home kit is lovely. Third kit is great. Away kit is horrible. It has like a fluorescent green
Oh yeah, of course.
mixed with
Yeah,
black.
yeah, I saw the
don't know what
memes
the
on
hell
that.
is
I saw the memes on that.
But yes.
Anyway, back to the game. 33 for 1. 4 overs gone. Sky still fancying his chances. And again, Hetmeyer showing why he can field,
And Gill is struggling big time so far. 6 of 10.
Yeah,
After a boundary of the first ball. So there's basically like 2 of 9 balls after that first
yeah.
edge-ish,
Edgish, which is
boundary.
ridiculous. By the way, tell us where you guys are watching this particular broadcast. Are you watching it on Fanco, Geo, DD like us? Because one thing's for sure, when you guys watch the watch-along, right, sync in your streams perfectly, because sometimes even if I'm tuning in and I'm not in the studio with the boys, I want to look back at certain key moments, and a key
he's
moment
on.
beckons right now. Shubman Gill goes. And this is where you see our reactions when certain wickets happens. We reacted to the Jaiswal dismissal. We'll react right now quite ridiculously on the Gill dismissal. And again, Joseph getting his fellow Gujarat Titan.
So what an absolutely forgettable tour for Gill so far. Not just
And Chuchant would be the
couldn't-
first to say Princess Gill right now. I'm sure that's incoming.
that is not appropriate at all. But coming back to the point, he couldn't score runs on a absolutely flat deck. 2 flat decks in the Test series, first of all, and then apart from the third ODI, I don't think he did anything worthwhile in the first 2 ODIs, and now he has had 3 failures in a row on T20s. In conditions, I think people are expecting him to thrive, because if it's a 160 wicket, the criticism of Gill is that, or was at least till he kind of proved that he can switch gears, was that, well, he can't bat too aggressively. But everyone was like, oh, well, if it's a 160 chase, if it's a 150 chase, Gill is the guy. But 3 150-ish wickets, 3 failures, and today he scored like what, 2 of 9 balls if you just do kind of take away that boundary that came off the first ball, and he never looked comfortable, and he's not looked comfortable against pace or spin at any point in this entire series, T20 series. So yeah, I mean, it's a forgettable series. Nobody's writing
And that's
Gill
the
off,
problem,
but yes.
right? Like, essentially, I know people like to compare Virat and Gill in T20s. Virat at least doesn't really get stuck at one end, like sucks up 4 5 back-to-back top balls. It's very rare in a Virat sort of innings like that. Chuchant, I was like, rightly says the princess word. In Lanka Premier League, Hasaranga firing, he'll be back-to-back player. We'll get to that, Mohammad Irfan. He's clearly an RCB
Oh, it's
fan.
raining.
And it's raining. I was going to come to that because when Gill was walking back, it was ridiculous. That's why he went for the shot. And Tilak Palma,
I mean, we need what, 6 overs to be bowled
another
for?
3 balls, dude. Just bowl
Fine,
the
right?
3 balls. Yeah, just
Just
5
fine.
overs. But I don't think, I think they're going to call the covers in, man. They're going to call the covers in, which is a problem.
No, they're not. Come on.
I hope not. But you saw it was pelting.
But if I'm
Bro, it was
Roman,
pelting.
if I'm Roman Paul, I will waste as much time as I'll be like, oh, call for a new shoe.
Yeah,
call
yeah,
for
yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
ground staff
So-
to kind of bang into the surface and bring some sawdust or whatever.
Oh my word. Oh, it stopped. That maybe was just a crazy passing cloud. Tilak Barma is gone. 1 bounce 4. So basically, the modus operandi from India right now, no matter what, they're just trying to get to 50 plus, I'm guessing, if this over gets completed. So they'll just be above the DLS. I'm guessing, remember, I don't know what the power score for DLS right now is after
Hey,
5.
I mean, they should be well ahead of the DLS par, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
Even
In a
with the
160
loss
chase?
of 2 wickets, I think the DLS par after 5 overs will be around like 38 or 40. I'm just taking a guess.
Yeah, we're all just second guessing here, but we'll get a confirmation of it. By the way, like this video, all you 32 if you're all watching, and tell us what you guys have got for dinner and all of that. Other players pick Australia and England tours as their tour to forget, but Gill has other plans. Yeah, Vikas, we spoke about how he can't go anywhere outside Ahmedabad when he's playing a T20 international. If you guys know, you know. Anyway, 42 for 2, 4.4. Tilak Verma's third ball, and it's just a single in the onside. So, like Shaunak has just said, the rain has subsided momentarily, still pretty gloomy. Are they just going to go for it till they're out there?
No. I think the rain, it's like the literal definition of a passing shower, I guess. It passed right in front of our eyes and just.
A typical.
Can you call it? It's like a shower that passed away.
Yeah. The literally Bangalore precipitation in the clouds. Chuchand going on to say it's premature to compare Princess to Kohli. Kohli's another beast, the best batter India's got in their entire history. 10x better than Tendlia, Gavaskar. Just that he could not win us that trophy. I would agree to that.
There's so much.
I would agree to that.
There are so many politically incorrect, controversial statements.
Yeah. I would not agree with the
that one-
nicknames. I would agree to that.
Yeah.
Though.
So, I mean, Tushant, if you could not use that P word again, it would be good because I think it is
it'll
kind
stoke
of
a fire.
It's not appropriate. So
It's not appropriate.
Yeah.
And for him to say that with a straight face is definitely something, so pay attention. I've heard footballers only succeeding in home grounds. Gill is doing it in cricket, succeeding in Namo Stadium only. I mean, obviously only the stats will tell us right now.
but
But
are there footballers who succeed in like
in home grounds? I mean, football's not looked at like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
I know that home record is a thing
Yeah.
for a team, but
it's
I
not
mean,
like
I
you
know
say,
that-
yeah, oh, Harry Kane is an Emirates specialist.
Firmino scores at Anfield
Yeah.
all the time or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I've heard some stats like that Firmino scores a lot at Anfield, not outside of Anfield.
Yeah, things of that. I mean, or you have people who score in the cup but then don't do well in the league. So football's
yeah.
different altogether. SS98, good to see you in this watch along this evening. Like this video before we take your I was going to say terrible comment, but you said terrible shot over there. Rohit and Virat should open in T20s immediately after the World Cup. Enough for Prince and Queen. I'll say it's a
I
terrible
was
comment.
spot on. Deal as far as 40.
Oh, 40. Well done. Quick math.
No, I
Benefits you.
just took an educated guess.
An educated guess. Man United jersey anytime for dinner, saying Mama Darfan. Feel you, brother. Tanmay Agarwal said, I'll counter Anirudh and say that I will go for a dinner
Test-
and a test match sweater.
Test sweater, yes. Do we get those online, by the way? I mean,
I don't think you get that in Adidas. I think you get probably when Nike used to be partner in the BCCI, you got good jumpers and good like pullovers and hoodies and stuff. But right now, I don't know if Adidas have that in their cupboard or closet or whatever the right word is. Have you seen Sporting Lisbon's third kit to honor CR7 20 years debut anniversary? No, I haven't, but I would love to check that
I'm
out.
assuming it's that green with white stripes-ish.
Yeah, typical Portuguese vibes. Firmino owns Arsenal Road in the Emirates Stadium, but he's no longer there, unfortunately. And Sky might not be no longer there. No, he's got 6 or 4. My bad. 1 bounce 4. So Sky going on and saying, bring on the short stuff.
Look at Chuchant's favorite club's legacy is that everyone ditched their club to go to Saudi. So,
Exactly. Henderson.
Come on, man. Have some shame, please.
And they're not even willing to spend money in Caicedo or
your
Lavia.
captain and your greatest ever footballer and your captain of the last decade have both reunited to collect blood money. So that's
No,
Liverpool's
100%.
legacy, it seems.
100%. And we can go on. So Chuchan, don't taunt us because I hate Liverpool as much as he hates you all right now. But league winning champions team dominates their home grounds. Pep with Man City, Mourinho with Chelsea, and Fergie with
Shot,
United. We'll
man,
hold on to that
shot.
football comment. That's brilliant. That's 6. And that's the pick of the shots that he's played this evening. And he's really exploiting this power play. 54 for 2, 3 balls left in the power play. And Owen McCoy has had a forgettable game so far. We'll come back to Sky and the appreciation so far. Just to take this Sagar Chandra comment, he says the teams dominate their home stadiums when they're a champions team. Yeah, I don't know if you know that crazy Mourinho stat where across 3 clubs from 2012 to like 2011, was it, or 2014?
14. I think
For 12 years, he didn't lose a home game.
not of Southampton were the ones who broke the jinx. I remember Graziano Pella scoring.
Oh,
in that.
was it that game?
I think so.
Oh, my word.
If I'm not wrong, that was the first ever time Chelsea lost, or that was the first ever time Mourinho lost a home league game in a long time.
That's bad.
I don't think he lost one with. Actually, no, he might have lost with Madrid. But yeah, Chelsea, I guess, Stamford.
Chelsea for sure. But yeah, let us know how you guys are going to be soaking up the football in the coming months, because I can't wait for it. I just think weekends become a better place, a happier place. And that's the football fan in me speaking. But would love to know who you guys support as well, generally. And then we'll continue in this watch along. So 55-2, Tilak Verma on strike. Is he going to go after the bowling? You bet you. And he'll get
That's a
4
boundary,
more.
right? Yes.
4 more. So India 59-2. They're almost 100 less to make it 2-1.
When was the last
100.
time outside Sky, or Sky was old when he made? When was the last time a youngster, any country, a youngster has just walked out and played with the fearlessness and confidence that Tilak Verma has exuded? Any country.
Harry Brook?
Harry Brook on debut in Test cricket against South Africa, he was not great, and he had a bunch of poor matches in T20s before he kicked off. So can't really say Harry Brook is that on the boundary. No, it's not.
No.
But India have got a great.
What
power play.
about, I know small sample size, but Mohammad Harris?
Mohammad Harris? Did he debut in the World Cup?
Did he? Because he
No. He debuted in a home series
against West Indies.
Was it against West Indies? I'm not sure.
I think it was. Raghavan Shah saying, guys, Paji in for the live. You bet you he will be in a short duration of time. In fact, I'm just going to slip out quickly for a small dinner breather. Hardik Vora will be back into this hot seat, and Anirudh will continue, and there will be some other special people. Just wait and watch.
Oh, there are 2 Austin children on the screen. Will we get a third? Ross his hat trick here. Okay, but I think bringing Ross Hill, I think kind of both of them laid into the Pacers.
Is he like the best?
Alright, guys, when was the last time we saw a debutant who was like ready years ago to play international cricket?
Even before he made his IPL debut.
Yeah.
I mean, I was asking Avnish this question. I know the last time any debutant, any country, who was just like 20 years old or this young, played with the confidence and arrogance and fearlessness that Tilak has shown. So I can't remember.
His age.
Let's say 23 and below. I can't remember too many players. Zafra Archer maybe. Archer looked like he belonged.
See, I'm not sure if we are going to just talk T20s, then I don't know. But even
No,
then,
let's any format like last 3 years. Very good.
and also
four run in T20s before he kind of became a good test player. So
also
that was-
I'm not even sure if just 3 games is the sort of sample space that you want to look at, because the first 2 test matches that Prithvi Shaw had against the same opponent, everyone felt that he's going to be the next big thing and he's ready. And the first 3 test matches that even Shubman Gill played in Australia, everyone was singing all kinds of praises for him, and perhaps rightly so. But yeah, I mean I just feel that sometimes we just pass the verdict too early. So
Yeah, but with Tilak Gurgat, we've seen him perform various
No, it-
flicks in IPL as well.
yeah, in T20s he's been outstanding. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk
Forget
about
this-
T20. I'm not saying
yeah,
just
forget
start
this season.
saying
I
him in
I
test
thought
matches as well. Yeah.
I have a theory that it's difficult to perform in a team that is not winning rather than performing in a team which is winning. So I somehow or somewhat rate Tilak's first season, which was the last season, better than what he was in this season, because he was the only batter that was being consistent for MI, whether it was whether it was needed for him to come and start playing his strokes straight away, or even to anchor an inning. So from what I saw, I felt that he had the temperament to play at the top level from the last season itself. It's just that he's upskilled his game a little more, because last season in the IPL he could be rushed with the short ball, he could be rushed with a little bit of extra pace, but this IPL, and now we are seeing that he's actually worked on that part of his game also. So yeah, I mean, it's not. It is fair to say that he was probably, more than ready for his T20 debut for sure. And yeah, he's reaping those rewards for it right now, and hopefully, maybe in a year we can see him in the other white ball format too. I feel.
Hmm.
Before we could move on, I mean, I just want to ask Anirudh a stat. I want to know what Roston Chase's bowling record in T20s is in West Indies and what it is outside West Indies, because it feels like Roston Chase, whenever
Short.
he's playing in West Indies, is like he goes to an economical beast. He's like keeping the runs down and he's choking the batters. So, yeah, if Anirudh can chip in with that stat, we can take that. But yeah, uh, India, what should be heavy favorites from this position? I guess 68 for 2 and like 6 point
Should be.
something.
The pull off a West Indies.
Yeah, but I won't say heavy, because I mean the point is add 2 wickets from here and they'll be in a spot of bother.
By the way, we are having some audio issues, and I think
Yeah, from the studio, you guys are it's muffled.
has it been fixed? I think our producer is looking into it as we speak. Is audio better now or
Yeah,
okay? Some
slightly better.
he's turned off and turned on the router, I guess.
Oh, the typical Indian way to sort things out.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, but Surya, we were talking about young players. So Surya wasn't young.
Yeah,
Kishan,
that's
That
what.
is why I did not take his name. Kishan, yes, in that
50 he scored
in that debut game he scored a 50 and he looked good. But after that, in the T20 World Cup, it's also fair to say that he didn't get enough chances. But uh, his career did not really sort of escalate after his debut. It took some time.
Hmm.
It took some effort. It took some failures from on Kishan's end for him to improve and keep. And right now, you still feel that in T20s or T20Is, he's still not there. He's not
Oh,
shot.
Yeah.
and
And
what?
in the case with Kishan has, even for Mumbai, he's succeeded only when he's played as an opener. Apart from that one season, they tried to play him in middle order, but it's not really worked. But with Tilak, he's batted 3, 4, 5, and even 6 at times.
And talking about young Indian batters, so Shubman Gill has had a tough series so far, and he's also, I think he's had a tough T20I career except for with 100 he scored against
Yes,
New
just
Zealand
like
in
2 decent marks.
Ahmedabad. So
Shot.
50 up.
Vintage Sky. So good to see him, bat like this after so long.
Sky does it so
Yeah,
often. It's a job.
And good to see him doing this at 3, because so far, I mean, his returns at 3 have been underwhelming, especially
Yeah.
when he plays for India.
But then again, that raises the question: why even play him at 3 all of a sudden? When
I mean, actually, I was thinking that they'll swap between Tilak and Sky depending on who gets out among the openers. They'll always want to maintain that left-right thing, but then I was proven wrong today when Sky walked in.
yeah, it's
See,
like
I
Sky.
personally feel on that Sky position bit, I feel even if Sky bats 4, it's not a big deal really,
Hmm.
because that is where he can, Sky at 4 allows the top 3 some security as well, and he's the kind of batter who you think can come in and adjust whatever the position is. Like he can start hitting from ball 1, and he also has the game sense to probably take a few balls, because that's what he did uh, for MI this season. There were
Hmm.
a couple of innings where he started out slow. He was somewhat like 18 of 18 in a few innings and then just exploded. So Sky at 4 is not a problem for me. I mean, I have the theory that your best batter should be really batting at 4 in limited overs, because that allows more security to other batters as well, and then that batter can sort of resurrect the innings or give it more momentum or impetus, whatever is needed, depending upon what situation he walks into.
And like Sky at 4 will also be helpful considering, because I don't really trust Hardik or like Jadeja or Akshars finishing ability. So having someone like Sky for the last 7-8 overs would probably be more handy at that.
That's true. Oh my God! He just
Where did you bowl that from?
Mark what there, Romaresh. But I remember a similar delivery like went wrong for him in the previous T20I, and Kishan hit it for 6.
Oh yeah,
But-
and then he got out next ball.
Yeah. So good on him for executing it well. But coming back to Gill, do you think at this point in time is Gill a lock for the opening slot from the T20 World Cup? What do you think? Somesh, you can take this first.
I won't call him a lock because a lot of
Yeah, you can elaborate. Like, what do you think is what would he need to do in the next 4 months or 3 months in order to kind of make
No,
that?
actually, I would be really interested to look at his numbers in India and outside India because more often than not, he's done well in India, at least so far in his limited white ball career. But I fail to remember him.
But
sort of
he's
replicating it.
not played much outside of
He's
India.
not played outside India. That's true. But even
Like,
with the
this is
limited
his.
opportunities.
People are forgetting that this is his 9th T20 international. This is his
Yeah,
ninth.
but
T20
I'm
international.
just thinking of across formats as well. This is. A tour to West Indies is becoming a tour to forget for Shubman Gill across formats. So
Yeah, it could be a case of bad form. It could be a case of, I don't know, maybe like in that first test. In that first test, he got out when everyone made merry. Then in that second test, again, it's that in swinger that troubled him. ODIs, he should have definitely done better. You would expect that a player of his quality and caliber should be able to adjust to these pitches. I don't know what was the case. He didn't look his fluent self. May if Was it a failure to adjust to the pitches or was it bad form? I don't know, but I still feel that uh, the scrutiny on a short career has been far too much, and it's become a pattern with upcoming young Indian cricketers. We saw this with Rishabh Pant. We've seen it with other new Indian cricketers who come into the fray. We want results way too quickly. I'm not saying that there aren't issues in their game. I have spoken of Gill's issue with the incoming delivery far too many times, but I still feel that it is too short a career to still label him as an Ahmedabad bully. And now that since that perception is catching up, he would ideally need that in the Asia Cup. In the Asia Cup, he scores some runs in Sri Lanka. And if he does it while batting second, when we know that the ball can tend to swing in Sri Lanka under lights, it would really, do his reputation some good and probably help him shed that tag of, being an.
but this again brings us to the point that we were discussing in the first innings, right? I mean, ultimately it's down to the players as well to sort of support the management and the captain. They can only do so much. I mean,
Yes.
Gill, because of the reputation that he's carried so far and the year that he has had, it's pretty sure that he's going to have a very long rope. But it's up to him now to sort of justify that long rope.
I agree. In fact, I feel that since we are talking of perception, a perception that often does the round sometimes on social media is that Sky is not a clutch player, right? Just because he did not score runs in that semi-final, people forget that he played one of the best innings of that T20 World Cup in Perth, where no Indian batter could hold their ground. So sometimes just how perception becomes because of more eyeballs on a couple of games or on a few occasions. It's just difficult to shed those perceptions despite all logic there.
There was a perception about Tendulkar that whenever he scores 100, India loses, but that happened in only 13 out of his 100 centuries. So perception, though, it's pretty easy to make.
There's a problem with the screen behind.
Your Vikas Shukla has such
Studio getting exposed. Problem behind and in front.
Hope is connected in
Vikas is being objectified by the.
I mean, if you look at another example that I'd like to talk about here is that of Riyan Parag, because he's not been able to nail the IPL, and I think it is partly down to the volatile position he bats at. and he's mentioned this in that interview with Akash as well, that people think he's not serious. See, if he was not serious, he wouldn't be nailing other domestic formats or other domestic tournaments, right? So sometimes it's just hard to fight perceptions that are formed in Indian cricket, and it's something that Ashwin had spoken back in 2018, where he said that Indian cricket runs on perception, and that is pretty much true even now.
Just press the button.
Oh,
Fine.
done.
Just
We're back to background is sorted.
Yeah. Coming back to the match now.
Yeah, life in the studio is much more interesting than what's going on in the game.
India need about 76, is it? From here?
Yes, 76 and 65.
Seems straightforward, but
I think like they're purposely slowed down. Like they're not taking any risks since last over. Considering it's raining.
Yeah, maybe they just want to keep up with the DLS.
Yeah, because
Oh,
if they
it's
lose a wicket, if they lose a wicket, the DLS par changes. So I think they have that DLS par in mind, and they want to be ahead of that.
not really, and it's suddenly sunny now.
Yeah, I think they've not come out because the ground staff knows that it's a passing shower. Maybe I'm just assuming. Let's see.
The covers just in case.
Oh,
Okay.
talking about not taking risks.
Just as when we were talking about Indian not taking risks.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sky heard you.
He's just.
But for Sky, I
It's
feel
a
like
sixth.
taking shot is more riskier than him trying to.
Yeah, for Sky, a cover drive is riskier.
Safe shot. Yeah, this is a safe shot.
The CV Sky has in like T20Is, it's already making him almost the greatest T20I batter of all time. Like it's
Yeah, but see,
Yo.
I just want to come back to the discussion that we were having about Gill, and this is something that I mentioned to Avnish when Nikhil was around to preview one of the shows. I mean, I just want to understand the conversation around Gill, because I don't think Gill is a problem that needs to be solved right now. At least from the white ball scheme of things, maybe there is a discussion to be had around red ball, which also again is not so much of a discussion. So I don't know. I mean, if we are questioning Gill, then we might as well question everyone in the 11 then.
One other thing that I want to bring up right now, that you know how Hardik mentioned that ramp that Sky played is probably less of a risky shot for him than say any other conventional stroke. Now we keep talking about how India need a cultural change in sort of when it comes to acing T20 cricket, right? Now, one of the things that I have seen with English cricket is that any and every new batter that comes in, they know how to play that scoop behind the wicket, and they are fairly successful with it, right? But you don't see that much with Indian cricketers. So, what I'm trying to say is that when you want this cultural change to happen for India to succeed in T20s, you also want that the players who are coming up in the ranks, they are also playing these funky strokes or scoops, and that they have normalized playing those shots, which I still feel hasn't happened as much as it should have happened after maybe 15 years of IPL.
No, that's true. Because I think apart from Sky, Pant is the only one who plays these shots regularly.
Yeah.
Sarfraz. That's his only scoring shot.
Sarfraz doesn't-
रेगुलरली बोला ना मैंने सरफराज तो रेगुलरली
doesn't
11 में नहीं होता.
20.
So anyone has the scoops. It's a very
No one, I think maybe Rahul Tripathi.
yeah, he plays that. Yeah, he kind of ramps it over the keeper's head. But yeah, you can almost count those kind of batters in one hand, I guess. But yeah, so India like cruising 64 needed, 3 more needed if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
3 needed of 60 balls. With 8 wickets in hand, if they go on to lose this, it will be one of the worst jokes. Maybe the biggest joke in the Dravid era. It will be worse. But what is the biggest joke in the Dravid era till now? Was that
Good question.
because whenever they've been beaten, they've been like
Comprehensively beaten.
that was not a joke. Like they were beaten 3-0 like properly.
See,
Maybe the
biggest stroke in
against Australia. I think
biggest stroke in Dravid era. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, to choke you need to be ahead
Yeah,
in the game.
I have a pick. My pick would be the Edgbaston Test. I think that's a proper choke.
oh yeah.
You
Bad
can't
miss.
lose that test, yeah. No way.
Bad
Bass ball,
Yeah.
kuch bhi hai, flat wicket. Can't lose
Yeah,
that.
378 is a lot of runs.
Yeah.
And for England to chase it down before India took the
Yeah.
second new ball is even more
Yeah,
embarrassing. I
India
mean,
were comprehensively beaten.
you
In a test
cannot.
that they should have won.
Yeah.
That is the after scoring like 450 odd and taking it almost a 150 run lead. That's it. You're losing by 7 wickets. Some kind of a. For a second, I thought the channel says
Yeah, I mean, Sagar agrees with us.
losing sixth test match.
India were also very close to losing to a test match to Bangladesh. Very close.
Yeah. That would have been a choke as well because before Lithan Das
Yeah,
played
that would have been a choke. It would have been, that Litton Das innings could have been similar to the one by Dinesh Chandimal in Gaul, but on a smaller scale because the match was done. Like I think that Bangladesh were still trailing or probably had a lead of around 20-30 runs and they were 6 down. And they gave India pretty much a target of 143 or 144. So it shouldn't have reached that stage anyway. And Litton Das that day was just sweeping anything and everything in sight, and he was connecting.
Yeah. Speaking of sweeps, I'm gonna go out now, and Avnish is gonna sweep his way into the studio, and he'll take you guys through the next 10 overs. I'll be back after 5 minutes.
Welcome back to the watch along. Just a change in a couple of faces. I'm back. Nix is back. So all you Gurkirat fans, apologies. You guys can check him out on his own Twitter page. 97 for 2, 10 overs gone, Hardik. Sky again, bro. And Tilak Verma. Is it Mumbai Indians?
Mumbai, yeah. Mumbai coming to the rescue.
Mumbai Indians. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised nowadays to just hear Dunya Hilale Imam in that stadium.
After
Generally.
losing 2-0.
Are Mumbai se yaad aaya, is there a RCB representative in this 11 or in this squad?
Ex RCB Chehel.
X से कुछ नहीं होता भाई. X तो तुम्हारे सभी हैं.
Yeah, that's also true. I'm trying to think. No one's there. No. There's a future RCB and ex RCB with no one else. There's no one else. By the way, look at the stats that we put out on cricket.com. You can check out more on the live blog on the website and the app right now. So download it. Gives you another incentive to download
He has
the app.
100 sixes.
That's 106s. That's mad. That is mad. Guys, how much do you guys rate the bowler Roston Jason T20s? He looks like you, but is he bowled better than you?
I mean, at least I have more hair. I'm sorry.
But you're a similar bowler, right? But around the wicket.
No.
For the wicket?
Yeah, but this like Anirudh was speaking. I think in West Indies and slow surfaces, he's a decent kind of a bowler. I mean, someone like him would probably be your second best off spinner in India. So,
But Hardik, who's more of a team player, Roston Chase or you?
bro, I am only doing.
Whatever cricket I have played with Hardik at office level, terrace level, 1 or 2 occasions on the field, Hardik is the most. I don't give a rat's ass about the team. What are my numbers? How have my figures been?
Oh,
The team should win.
Who should win? That's
Yeah.
the agenda.
yeah, it's a Hardik thing.
It's a hard thing.
Better captain.
By the way, Ankur Vishwa saying Drizzle has helped Paul coming nicely under the bat. Right now, it's a straightforward win for India, and it's pretty much thanks to Kumar Yadav. He's scored a couple of T20 international tons. Can today be one such day?
59. I want Tilak to score 70 from. And him saying another sweep.
Another sweep, another boundary.
Another boundary.
Cricket not next you take one. India showing why they're the number 1 T20 team in the world. 2 one-off losses doesn't change anything.
See, I don't think it changes, but it doesn't still rub off whatever happened in the first 2 games. So
Yeah.
those errors are still there in the team. The usage is still a problem. So you are winning because your best player is performing. So if your best player in this format will perform, you are going to win 7 out of 10 times. And I do agree with the condition bit as well, that the pitch was slowing down. Whatever rain has come, maybe it has helped bind the pitch together because both captains expected it to slow down. And this is actually come on to the bat better. So we could also hear the same in the presentation as well. So it doesn't rub off anything, but there are signs that they have to still work on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a plaster over the wound. They still need a surgery, not that drastic, but paper or cracks may be a better cliche to use there. Sanjay Papigiri saying, amazing to think Rohit is just 26s away from being the leading six-hitter of all time. When there were those so-called power players, and Rohit doesn't really come across as one of those. I mean, Rohit will still go down as a really good T20 player. Where would you put him? Is he in the top 10 T20 players of all time?
T20.
Yeah, no. No, right? No.
I think
No chance.
just as the batters, I don't even think in the top 20. I don't think I'll see him there.
Okay.
Top 30 maybe, like last McCain.
What about the biggest Rohit Sharma fan in the panel? Where would you put Rohit?
Number 41
Number 41.
or 45 maybe. Let's say jersey number. He's
What
the
is his-
45th greatest batter, T20 batter of all time.
His ICC ranking right now in T20 internationals would be something.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
inside out. Typical
123. 123 hogi shayad.
123.
He's out of the ATP 100.
Oh my word. By the way, we've also had a time prediction contest for all you guys who did won merchandise in the first innings. We're asking the exact time. And this is where it gets really fun because all you guys actually think you have a chance, but sometimes you just can never predict something as hard as this. So right now it's 10:44. All you guys are saying 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 11, 17, I think it was. So I think with Sky and the way he's going, let's see how he's
What if he gets out this one?
he might get nearly put in the markers. What's the fundamental reason behind Australia, England, South Africa, with Saudi having bowlers who are so much better hitters than what India ever have? Who wants to go? Spoken
Yeah.
about this.
I think it's got a lot to do with how they play their domestic cricket and what those conditions are. A majority of those players who grew up in those conditions are very often bowling seam and batting at 6 and 7 and then wanting to hit sixes, which is not always the case with India, where you are playing on very different type of decks and where spin comes into the picture because the bounce is low and there you are not going to be able to hit through the line. So the requirement at that level is different, and then which is why even in the IPL you don't see so many of them. So which is why the demand for those all-rounders in the auction is also greater because you don't have those type of players in the setup coming through. So I think that's where the majority of the difference lies, which is also why they don't have the amount of finger spin or wrist spin options that some golden teams have, because that's the requirement that you have in this kind of circuit.
It's something to consider. So,
But at the end of the day, I think it has to be a cultural thing. Yeah, I mean, it needs a proper study of why does it happen, because it has happened over generations. And I mean, to be honest, we might say that India produces a lot of spin bowling all-rounders, but it's a little limited, right? It's more to do with left-arm spinners who are all-rounders. I mean, in our country, we don't really have a wrist-spinning all-rounder, although some might say that Rahul Tewatia is one, but he's not bowled in 2 IPL seasons now. I mean, or has bowled only negligible number of balls.
No, I also think generally, culturally, yes, I agree with Som, but Nick's made a good point. Some countries have something that they don't, right? India, if you look back at all the great all-rounders, Kapil Dev and Hardik Pandya are just generational talents. But Australia, England have so many guys like Pandya and Kapil Dev. I mean, I know it's a weird thing to quote, but generally. But at a similar time, you can't tell me Australia, South Africa, England, New Zealand have always had world-class spinners. They've had one great spinner in maybe 30, 40 years. Like Kane won with Australia. England have never really had a good spinner. I mean, all
Swan.
decent.
Swan.
Yeah.
But like not someone. I mean, Nathan Lyon as well is one. Giles arguable,
Laker.
but Laker, Sydney Barnes, all those. But essentially, yeah, it's a culture thing, which makes me think, because how much India would give to have a Chris Wokes or a Kyle Jamieson or a
Currently, Western Australia.
Sorry.
They have a
India,
Yes.
India have a guy like Chris Wokes, but they will not play him in the WTC because they don't think it's worth it.
Who's that?
Of course.
A guy doing well at home with the ball.
Ashwin, yeah. No, I'm saying fast bowling, that kind of ilk, essentially.
For that, you'll have to look up
Reduce.
the Lord.
Look up at the Lord.
Shardul.
Shardul Baba, please.
No, but if you
Yeah,
see,
but I
like,
mean,
एक age tak, you'll always see these bowlers who can bat. Like if you look at India A squad, which played in the Emerging Cup, you had someone like Hangar Gekar at number 11.
Hmm.
So at that level, Hangar Gekar is a pretty decent batter. At that level, he is still better than what Kuldeep is giving us at
Yeah.
number 8. I'm not comparing their batting ability. I'm just saying at under 23, Hangar Gekar at 11 is better than Kuldeep at 8 at this level. But once you see him being promoted up the level to come into international, Hangar Gekar won't even be able to hold his bat. Like us level tak chal jata hai. So I still feel like eventually after one point of time, they will stop focusing.
And I get that. And Angad is a good example, but essentially, what about someone like Shivam Martin?
Yeah, anyone.
But can they concentrate on such people? Anyway, this is such a a rare breed in Indian cricket. Hone these guys who have these three skills. Lord, Martin.
Someone like Mavi Harshit Rana. Okay, is there a possibility where they have domestic matches? And do you think selectors or anyone from the management who have like shot? Or is it out?
Oh, it's gone.
Do you think the selectors or someone can actually inform
what a
the-
shot, yeah.
Yeah.
saying that he's someone like Shivam Mavi could let him bat at number 5 in some of the matches, domestic matches, just to make sure like he's getting enough batting time.
Yeah, it might be strange, but I think in the longer scheme of things, you'll at least have characters like this.
But then, see, but the argument here is if
Someone playing with some sort of gift wrapping paper around.
Stop for now.
Som smiles, so I think it's coming from his end.
yeah, stop now. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, go on. So,
Yeah, no. So the point I was saying is this is a little weird. If you now want to play Shivam Mavi as a bowler just because he can bat, I don't think that's a right approach because then you are compromising on bowling. I think ideally what should happen is once a certain bowler is locked for his bowling skills, then it should be it should come from him that if he can contribute with the bat as well, it will be much better for the team. Like for example, Shardul Thakur, right? 2019 IPL, we saw what happened, and he's gone on to record to say that he wanted to work on his batting, and this has to be a little individual driven as well.
oh my God, there's a wicket and all of this chat and Sky.
Oh,
Gem of a knock comes to an end, 44 ball 83, and he could have hit it anywhere, but he's found the fielder in fine leg in Sky in typical fashion. What's the way?
No century.
No century. Unfortunate.
No, Vikram Rathore, when he was the batting coach, he clearly mentioned that one of his objectives was to ensure that the tailenders were improving as a batter.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then in that sense, we have a lot of top order batters not improving, so I don't know how much of it is worth it.
No, but that's fine because I don't think at the national level the responsibility of the batting coach is to improve the top order batters because they would already have a lot of
Yeah,
player
but then
people they are comfortable with who they will go back to if they need any tweak in technique.
it's a easy cope out maybe. I just
Yeah,
feel
I'm
if you
just
have similar
saying,
dismissals,
yeah.
if you have similar kind of dismissal, then I don't think there is a way out to tell that. I'm sure you don't have to reteach them or just change everything about it, but you have to find a way.
And that's the thing, right? Like we heard last year, was it Som and Hardik, the fact that Rahul Chair came out saying, I want to improve my batting. Even if you look at all the leg spinning options we have right now, any leg spinner, none of them can bat to save their life, really.
Yeah.
Iyer is the only
Yes,
one.
Iyer.
One for
And see, the problem there with impact player is Rahul Chair now gets subbed out
Yeah.
because he doesn't have to bat. So then it's like hitting your own. It's just the same thing again and again that you keep trying one thing, but then introduce something that will eventually cancel it out. So
I don't forget about batting. I mean, the issues with Indian main spinners is they are so one-dimensional that they are not even half decent fielders. Like for example, if you don't have Chahal in the 11, or if Chahal is not your first choice wrist spinner in the 50 over World Cup, what is the point of even having him in the squad? Because you can't even bring him on as a substitute fielder.
And that's where the choice between Chahal, Kuldeep, and Bishnoi is literally a shot in the dark. They all can bowl. They all can have their good days. They can all have their low days. But still, right?
Yeah, I mean, any squad cannot afford to have more than one of them, even in the
So
15, let alone 11.
So is it safe to say right now in the pecking order, Kuldeep is starting the ODI World Cup and maybe Chahal the T20
The
World Cup?
reserves.
In the
Yeah.
reserves.
Chahal is not made for T20 World Cup.
Yeah, that's true. He's never played one.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you guys take, Kuldeep, Chahal, or Bishnoi right now?
In
T20 World Cup.
for West Indies,
Yeah.
I'd be okay. I'd be okay with Kuldeep, but if they
Same.
don't make any wrist spinner, I'll be okay with that as well.
Oh, and then Akshar Jadeja.
Or like some off spinner.
And
If
some off-
Washi is like functioning.
Yeah. I think I'll probably just go Bishnoi because he has age and he feels better than the other two. That's the only reason.
But Bishnoi actually, I mean,
And plus, Bishnoi is a good off spinner, bro. Essentially. With all the googlies that he keeps bloody delivering.
outswingers.
Outswingers. Mayur getting involved in the chat saying, also generally, you guys think players outside India are just fitter overall in general. Faf does not have any ounce of fat in his body at the age of 40. Faf is a complete classic example.
No,
but-
you're taking an example of a Greek god, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah. See,
Is it-
genetics is one of the reasons. The point is, I mean, a lot of people would want India to have a football team in the World Cup someday. But I mean, truth be told, genetics is a reality, right? I mean, there are certain sports which Indians won't have an advantage over people from other countries. So it is what it is.
And we'll probably see it in the Olympics as well. I don't want to go into each discipline, but Som has a point there. And it just comes down to certain things. We're way better in certain areas and facets of life compared to certain Firangs and
Yeah.
outside.
Can't we be like England, like get players from outside?
Ultimately, I mean,
I'm sure we
if they have a World Cup of surgeons, economists, maybe.
But do you think that'll ever be the case, guys? Like, I know it's so weird, but like how England, like he said, has taken Adil Rashid, they've taken Moeen Ali, Zimbabwe have taken Sikandar Raza. Will India ever actually do that with a foreigner? Ever?
Avnish, have you ever come across someone from other country who wants to relocate to India? I mean, like how Indians usually want to relocate to
But you know how people are so
Western countries.
But people are so greedy in this lucrative world, so we'll give them money and we'll try to make a career for them.
Get someone from Zimbabwe, Sikandar Raza. Only if you'd have paused him like earlier. See?
No, man. I think India would give everything to have had De Villiers as an Indian. They were thinking about that.
Still
genuinely.
wouldn't have solved our issue. He can't ball. No, actually, he would have been a decent bowler.
Decent.
India can still have De Villiers. I think De Villiers can still play international cricket.
I mean, technically, if I had to take any international Firang into India right now, I would probably take Chris Wokes.
No, bro.
Why?
Who else is there, guys? What, you take Cam Green to India?
Avnish is like recency bias max.
No, I'll tell you why Chris Wokes.
Not in India. He gets bashed.
You think
If I have to take anyone, I'll pick Cameron Green.
Green.
What the all-rounders?
Injury prone.
Yeah.
South Africa.
अरे मुंबई इंडियंस है तू किधर अवनीश लॉजिक लगा डायरेक्ट यार
अरे हद हो गई यार ये तो मैंने मतलब that was the last thing on my mind.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, generally think about it. Sports fans saying Trent Bolt he'll take for India. Yeah, we don't have a good left armour. Unless you're a Rashdeep fan. You can take Stokes, Owen, in Jordan's case, they're non-British, yeah.
Just 3 of the 100s.
100%. One's New Zealander, one's Irish, one's from Barbados. So they've literally taken
West
every.
Indies only they have like 7.
But even Jason Roy, Jonathan Trott, I mean, England have been doing it for like 10, 15 years, 16, 20 years now. Man.
There's this joke now when they won the world.
भाई अगर left armers ही लेना है तो फिर take Shaheen. No, why would you want to take Bolt whose career is almost done?
Controversial call.
You already have.
See, if
You already have many power play. So you already have many power play bowlers.
If neighbors are allowed, I'll take Shadab. Yeah, India doesn't have a wrist spinner who can bat.
भाई तो राशिद खान को ले लो ना
That's the
राशिद खान को
extreme
लो
luxury.
end
हाँ,
the-
Rashid Khan ले सकते हैं. Best है ना.
end the story
Number 8, yeah. End of discussion.
Hasaranga, bro. What do you mean?
Number 5, yeah.
Oh, you'll take Hasaranga above Rashid Khan?
In the current government climate, yes, to be safe.
Why? क्यों?
What do you mean?
अफगानिस्तान के साथ कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है भाई.
That's it. I mean, yeah, sure. Let's not steer the direction over there. Stokes is just clutch for his game. India will anyway come till there, saying Sanjay Papigiri. I mean, by the way, you guys have 7 balls to make your time predictions because the game's getting over quickly. Sorry, how they what were you saying?
I think, yeah, India anyway can't win the knockout. So for that particular matches, I think we can get someone like Stokes.
Oh my word. By the way, is the next year's World Cup a similar format to last year's World Cup? The 10-team ship? 5-5? 16 teams for T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
World Cup we're talking about, right?
Yeah. 16 teams. Oh, okay. That's going to be pretty much like the 2007 ODI World Cup in the West Indies, where it was like 4 teams group, right? And India, I can't believe, went out to Bermuda, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka in that group. By the way, we put out a classic video on that, and you can hear MS Dhoni and what he had to say with regards to that particular one. So check that video out after this watch along. And India now just cantering home, guys. I mean, it looks like an easy 7-wicket stroll in the past.
Still mess up,
Unless they're West Indies.
but they have one of their best batters at the crease, Tilak.
I thought you were going to go captain way. But yeah, Roston Chase, can Tilak Varma end proceedings rather quickly? Because, I mean, what are your predictions now for the series? 2-1, India will make it tonight. And in the Florida leg, I think apparently everyone's saying the surface, the stadium, everything is going to suit India. So it's just meant to be a 3-2.
You get bashed by Puran.
Yeah, Puran and his MLC touch. So, are you still sticking with your 4-1 West Indies?
When did I make that prediction?
Throwing you under the bus.
5-0.
5-0, 4-0.
They would have played. Puran and everyone would have played there, right? In the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it would be difficult for India to win 3 on the trot. So I would say 3-2 to West Indies.
3-2 to West Indies. Yeah, I mean, I would love it to be 3-2 West Indies if it actually is 2-2, more than that 3-1 happening or whatever. So let's see how that roll trickles across. Why is Sky not able to bat like this in ODIs? Guys, I'm sick and tired of asking this question, Mayur, because we've answered it in every possible realm of cricket.com. In the previews, in the reviews, in the watch-alongs, in the special series, soon to be in the Monday Night Live. You take a crack at it, because you're the only one who probably hasn't spoken about it in depth.
I don't want to. I've been watching him. I think I've given up as well on Sky, the ODI batter. I'd rather have him for T20Is. खेलने दो. उसके चक्कर में इसमें form खराब हो जाता है. So.
And do you see him as an all-format player?
What? All format?
No, right?
Not even
Never.
2 white ball formats.
And no, I'm not saying this based on his T20 success. Generally, as a batter, do you like his game for all formats?
I started thinking of him as an all-format player after he was introduced to all formats in international. So I was only interested in his T20 game. I mean, I knew he was.
And tests where? Oh, he played in BGT.
Yeah.
Yeah, BGT.
One innings.
One fateful innings. Agrees generally with the whole subcontinental fast bowlers not able to contribute much with batting, saying sports fan. Yeah, just think about it. And every format, low order contributions are now game changers, dude. That World Test Championship final, which lost to New Zealand, Jameson made a huge impact with the bat, let alone with the ball. So it just goes to show that India need to like tinker in that regard.
I think just an example on that could also be like, see, you see somebody like a Shaheen Afridi in the PSL promoting himself up to bat. That is the kind of thing that you'll have to start doing after spotting those talents. That okay, if you see somebody like, as he said, you've seen Angar Kekar hit a few, so you've seen Deepak Chair hit a few. Where do you think can you fit them in the order, or at what position for what matchups? Then, if you try that in your domestic circuit or in the IPL, then is when you can have that. Okay, now I have an option like him who you can set. I mean, KKR batter Shardul Thakur at 3, which is very, very promising on paper. But then if he keeps getting enough chances and he improves, then you have a case where someday it may come off. But for that, it will have to be a consistent effort and not a one-off, like you are a once in 10 games kind of thing.
But Nick, the last time India, I think, did that in any white ball format was when Javagal Srinath was playing. I don't remember a single... Irfan Pathan's a good shot, yeah. Because essentially, if you can think about fast bowlers who've even played cameos or been used as pinch hitters... Zahir was here.
Balaji.
Balaji was good. Agarkar, yeah, arguably you could set him up as a pinch hitter. Javaga Srinath, I remember, played a couple of blinders. But yeah, 1 second, we'll make a quick swap right now in the CDC in studio substitutes.
That's goodbye for me.
And
We'll
so
see you around.
And Nix will go out as well, or Nix will stay.
No, Nick's
right?
stay. Nick's will stay.
Nix staying as well. Anirudh will be back in right now, and I'm guessing Gurkirat as well. So good to see you, and we'll see you, I'm guessing, on the weekend. Until then, have a good time and stay safe, brother.
See you.
No, it's not plugged in, but we are plugged in live right now in the Watchalong, and we're just about to experience India get a first T20 international win in 2023 in the West Indies. And Gurkirat is back after his dinner. Anirudh is back as well. And we were just asking Hardik, Som, and Nix about essentially which shot Tilak Varma. That's 6. You could get 50 here, 7 runs away. So, Gurkirat, here's a question for you and every viewer who's watching this right now.
Is it stuck?
While Anirudh just tries to figure out the charging point of the MacBook,
I think somebody has to lift
you have
this.
to lift it. Oh my word! Oh my word! We're good to go. Yeah. So, Gurkirat, my question to you is, if, like, you know how England was picking players from different countries over the years, Ben Stokes from New Zealand, Morgan from Ireland, so on and so forth. If India actually do that 20, 30 years from now, but in the modern era, which player would you like to take to India and why?
I didn't really get your question. Like, are you looking
In the sense,
are you
like,
looking
when-
at a player like are you looking at a
One player that you can get from other countries. As simple
Yeah.
as that. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, sorry. It's just I've complicated it.
like one player from any country, right?
Yeah. So Som said Cam Green. I said Chris Wokes.
Chris Wokes is old, man.
I know, but I just like him, man. Ex RCB lad also. I like him.
But Chris Wokes in India hasn't been really successful.
Yeah, everyone so said that. Now tell me yours.
I'd like someone like Maxwell in limited overs, because for a long time we have not had a batter who could bowl, and Maxwell can give you 5-6 overs in an ODI, and he can even bowl a full quota of 4 overs in T20s. Yes, he's someone whose returns can be volatile, but yeah, I mean, his game against spin is something that I am a fan of, and I think he's trying to improve versus pace also. So yeah, I am a huge Glenn Maxwell fan, despite sometimes me pulling out my hair while watching him do some absolutely stupid stuff. But he's a maverick. You know, the day he's on song or he's in the mood, he will win you or give you impactful performances. So yeah, Glenn Maxwell is one cricketer that I
Spoken,
really.
spoken like a true Delhi Capitals Ricky Ponting fan.
Yeah.
Let's end it there. No more comments. No comments from Paji.
Only two things about Maxwell is his wife and the fact that he has a lot of body hair compared to other Indians. I'm guessing Maxwell's a hairy dude. I mean, if he becomes India,
that's where the
What
problem-
all I don't know what all Avnish notices. I mean,
come on, man. Just, you gotta pick out these pointers, Gurkirat. You can't just be with the cricket lens.
I am not looking at Maxwell's body hair.
They want to see the fun side of you. They don't want to just be like, yeah, weather forecast, acha nahi hai, ye scene movement kafi badhiya hai, is anything taraf. Like, they want to hear you speak. Literally. Come on, lad. But yeah, we're having a good chuckle. We're just pulling each other's
Livingston maybe also. Liam Livingston.
Livingston's a good shout
The
as
guy
well.
who can go off spin, leg spin, and bat anywhere from 1 to 6. I
From
think
1
India
to
was
7.
1 to 7, yes.
Som said Cam Green. I mean,
Cam
some
Green is also a good
interesting shouts.
shout because he's a fast bowling all rounder.
Oh my word. Imagine
Yeah.
Ben Stokes plays for
I
India.
said
then
I said
his name-
Rashid Khan.
Rashid
Far
Khan.
more long term investment.
So what is Pandya's like achievements right now? Is he like Ravi Bopara of India or Dimitri Mascarenhas? Who would you compare him with? He's not Ben Stokes for sure.
And Mascarenhas has won an IPL, to be fair.
Rajasthan.
Yes.
For strictly international cricket, is Hardik Pandya the Ravi Bopara of India or the Dimitri Mascarenhas?
Oh, I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with Anirudh. I mean, now that the match is done, Hardik has come out to bat. Really don't know what is there to gain.
Ravi Bopara is a
it's a closer shout. Ravi Bopara is definitely a closer shout. In fact, our statsman's also losing his cool in the comments, saying hard to understand Hardik is a captain. With 37 needed, he could have sent Samson. He's a hit or miss player for now. He would have finished the game on and been dismissed. Typically, Gully cricket.
I'll say just one simple thing on Hardik, the captain. You don't want a captain who looks for his own convenience.
Yeah.
At situations. As a captain, you have to look out for the convenience of your players first, who are looking to make a mark.
But he's doing that with the ball and he's doing that with the bat now.
That's what is annoying and is pissing off. How would players grow?
Yeah.
I mean, not every day will Mukesh Kumar come and straight away bowl in the 17th over and then sort of deliver straight away. It's difficult task for any bowler to do that straight away. And we have seen enough in T20 cricket that if you also ask someone to bowl straight 3 overs in the last 5, after a point of time the batters can line you up no matter how good you are. So yeah, you don't want someone who's just playing their third T20I to be thrown in the deep like this.
And padding in terms of his average and his not out, which he'll get right now, which is ridiculous. By the way, India just 12 away. Let's just go back to that comment because it's a comment which I want Nix and Anirudh to get into it. Not the Anirudh comment, the other one from
Sanju.
Yeah, the Sanju one, because a lot of Sanju fans will be saying this at the end of the series, and they're fully validated, right? So, I mean, cut him some slack. Why would you want to bat at different positions in a 5-match series?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I know he's played some daft shots.
One shot because he was run out in the first match. You can't hold it against him. Like Sky was run out in the previous match. Sanju was run out in the first match, and he probably did not make use of his chance in one match. But again, that's just one match. Like I said, I don't know, but probably good for him. Probably today that he didn't come out to bat because it was a lose-lose situation for him. He couldn't have won because the match was already won.
Exactly.
He couldn't have impressed. Like even if the worst case, he could have got out in single digits, and people would be like, "Oh, Samson has failed again," and his average would have plummeted further. But now he's not even getting to bat, which is good for him because otherwise he was walking right into a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
But what Anirudh says is completely valid because Hardik, we've seen it, man. It's annoying as hell because again he just bowls all the overs himself.
Time.
And by the way, he bowls himself only when it's favorable.
Only.
Bet you if you're playing at Wankhede and Mumbai are batting, he will not bowl himself. I don't think he bowled himself in the IPL.
I agree with you.
At Wankhede. I don't think he did that.
I fully agree with you. Next, I mean, how do you tell Sanju Samson fans to sleep well?
Good. He got preferred over Ishan Kishan.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go home having, with his average intact.
So the fans can still smile, right? They won't be kind of all.
See, the only way you can test the team out properly now is resting Sky for the next 2 matches.
Yeah.
There's no point playing Sky, let's be honest.
But they will play him because it's a do or die.
There's no point. I mean, come on, you have to be willing to take a couple of losses in order to, benefit you in the long run.
Loss?
Ask Nix whether he do that.
Nix, would you rest Sky in the next game?
Next 2 matches.
Next 2 games.
Right now, maybe not. Purely from the sense that if he's going to be in my 11, because see, this is how the management works. This is not how I want to work it. But if he's going to be part of the ODI setup at 6, I want him to be confident enough going into that setup. So some runs for him in those 2 games in good batting conditions.
Oh my!
Is that a wicket?
Ugly as hell.
Oh, catch it, man! I wanted Hardik to get out. Oh my word! And Gurki was tweeted about it, but yeah, next one.
Yeah, so I think in that sense, you want Sky to be in the best possible frame of mind, so that if at all one of those 2 4-5s aren't fit, And if he's coming on the back of some good run, then maybe he can convert whatever he can in the ODI format as well. So again, not looking at particularly only the T20Is, because they've already rested Kishan, which I think is a good thing. So Samsung gets all of the games, and there isn't anybody else to really, and you wouldn't want to mess the batting order even further. So for both those cases, जो जैसा चल रहा है चलने दो.
And look at introspect, Gurkirat. I mean, can you be Sanju's advocate here? Because look at what he's saying to poor Sanju.
I wouldn't say nil results. He batted well in that third ODI and played an innings which was for the team. He could have easily looked to bat for himself and try and get a 70-80, but he did the job there. He provided the innings the impetus that was needed. So yeah, I wouldn't really say nil results. What was disappointing was his shot in the last game, where you firstly you I mean, if he would have looked to go over covers, he might have had more success. But yeah, that's something that I'll say. And yeah, that run out bit is also, like I said during that game, I felt that he was a little too casual in not expecting the throw to come to his end. But yeah, I wouldn't really say that it's nil results. And you have to see, essentially he's batted what, 4 innings, and out of that, in one he did the job. In the first one, which was in the second ODI, he got a ripper of a delivery, and that any batter can get. So wouldn't really say it's nil results. Uh, and I don't think Sanju Samson has played 3 ODIs in the same position so far. 3 ODIs consecutively. So yeah, I think it's harsh to say. It's like you want to drop him without giving him a fair chance, or without giving him the chance to even fail properly.
Yeah, and I think Sagar Chandra has gone on to say, how does batting position change the fact that he could have batted and finished the innings? No. I get where you're coming from, Sagar, but look at how he's been in and out of the team. It takes a toll on, the mentality. You're kind of, like Gurkira alluded to, he could have been selfish, but he was always playing for the team, and he's that kind of character. So you got to weigh in all these factors more than just brute numbers. Now, Robin Paul's bowling like someone's bowling in the park. And he nearly got the wicket of Hardik Pandya in the first ball.
If you are Hardik, would you just like take singles and let Tilak Verma score a 50? That's what a good captain should do.
Essentially, and that's what I was just thinking about it, because Tilak had a chance to kind of go for the hero shot and finish the game, but he's gone back, giving a single
And he's
back
trusted his skipper.
to do the job.
He's trusted his
Is
skipper.
Sanju in your guys this year's ODI World Cup squad? He's in mine. He's probably in my 15 or 18.
Yeah,
Oh.
he'd be in my 15, I think.
Yeah, same.
Okay, now let's talk about the
Win.
man in form right now,
Tilak
Tilak
Verma.
Verma.
He's brilliant.
Is he now a lock for the T20 World Cup?
Yeah, I think he is.
Way
just
too
think-
early for Indian cricket.
I just
Way
think
too
these
early.
conversations are just way too early, because
But still, I really like him. Don't you guys really like him? He's already a fixed left-hander, batted for brilliant.
see, we like him.
It's not even
We
a
like
question.
Yeah, that's what
We
I
like
what I-
him, but you have to understand, this is the same management that didn't really start the series with someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal. So, one, it is way too early. Two, you don't know what will be his form, 3 or 4 months, just before the World T20, how what kind of IPL he has then, and you don't know which other player might be doing well in some other formats for the management to think, oh, this player can crack T20. So to say that he's a lock for the management is a question which is very difficult to answer 1 year from
And
1 year
also,
before.
if Tilak should be in the team, it will mean that.
Oh, once
my
again,
God,
he's
that's a
whacked.
dickhead move from Hardik. Come on, man.
Yeah, what a guy,
That
dude. He
is
could have given
terrible, man.
he could
Come
have
on.
given Tilak the
Come on.
strike plus 50, but Hardik
Come
Pandya
on.
will take a 6.
2 of 14 balls, he could have taken a. I mean, I remember Dhoni blocking in a World Cup semi-final, bro, so that Kohli could finish up the match.
Wow.
Hardik wanted to take the glory. Come on,
I mean, that's
nice.
quite ridiculous, but it brings a smile.
Someone I tweeted something that I was talking about, and someone said that last game when India was struggling for with a run rate of under 7, Sanju came out to bat at 5. Today, when the game was done, Hardik came out.
I remember that. But 1 second, let's just pan to the breaking news, which is India winning by 7 wickets, 2-1, still alive in the series. Sanju Chat can stay in the 4th and 5th T20 Watchalongs, which will be there on Saturday and Sunday. But how selfish is Hardik Pandya, the captain? I mean, he could have literally walked it, given the boy a second T20I 15 3 games. It wasn't a B. But look, that's how the Watchalong is ended, unfortunately. Plenty more of content to come through. One on Tilak Barma himself on Friday. On Thursday, we have Gurkirat's show as well, which will be at 8 p.m. And we have 2 winners. Or 0, no winners. I heard it is 2 winners. No winners, unfortunately, because no one got the 11-14 time right. Was it 14?
I said 11-17. I said 11-17.
Oh, it was
I was
11-15.
close.
No.
Oh,
2
yeah.
minutes is
But I was
passed.
close.
Yeah, you were close, but again, like I said, no cigar. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate all you guys who, of course, always have some questions to throw at us, and hopefully we've answered all of them. India, like I said, alive in the series 2-1, and we'll be looking forward to that Florida leg. Thank you, Gurkirat. Thank you, Nix, for all your insights, and Anirudh as well for stepping in for this one. Lots more, like I said, on cricket.com. Until the next time, so goodbye from all of us. India still in it to win it.